He subdued demons and conquered the world, being invincible. But in the end, it was all a mistake. He returned to the past. Now he has a second chance, with absolute knowledge of the future and the power to wipe out entire armies. Who will become the prey now? The year is 2047. 25 years have passed since portals called the Gates of Hell began to open all over the world. The world has changed, humanity has become extinct, only one person managed to survive. And this person is our main character, Namgung. With a stern look, MC approached the demon, and it seemed that he was about to plunge a sword into him. But he only knelt down and held out the demon's head to him. After that, he went to the bar. It was his refuge. The demon's head suddenly spoke. He remembered the rumors about a man who hunts only high-class demons. Who would have thought that this would be true? But why does MC need a demon's head? Everything will be revealed soon. When they entered the storage, the demon was surprised. So that task is real? After the disappearance of humanity, the one who collects 666,666 heads of the highest class demons will be able to shake the timeline and turn back time. This demon was the last one. He put his head on the shelf and he started to complain. What will he achieve by going back in time? MC's motivation was that he would be able to see his daughter. For this, he had endured this hellhole for 25 years. The demon threatened him with some phases. They would not sit idly by. But even these creatures, those who opened the portals and turned this world into a hellhole and who came up with this stupid task, even they are not omniscient. Having completed the collection of heads, he finally completed the legendary task and his travel back in time began. He swore that he would kill anyone who stood in his way. And then the building exploded and a beam of light shot into the sky, pierced the time frame and descended into the building, the protagonist's apartment. He found himself on the bed. The first thing he did was look around to make sure everything went well. And then he rushed to his daughter's room. Seeing Somin sleeping peacefully, he remembered the moment of her death. At that time, chaos reigned in the city. They found themselves on the roof of the building, and Somin was on the verge of falling. His right hand, which he held her with, was broken, and he could not move his left at all. Suddenly, a roar was heard below the building. Somin found herself in the mouth of a monster, and then the jaws snapped shut and only her hand remained, which he was now holding. Because of the memories, he was upset. And when his daughter woke up, he had already left the room. He was so happy that he burst into tears. But he knows that this happiness will not last long. The day is coming when the gates of hell will open again, and the world will change forever. He lived alone for 25 years. Will he be able to last as long, protecting his daughter? He decided to throw all doubts aside. He simply had to protect her, even if he himself died trying to do it. The system reported receiving magical powers. He received entry-level spiritual magic, the eyes of the spirit. It turns out that even after the regression, his powers did not disappear. And when the system reported that the spirit was looking at him, he looked at the photo of his wife Sua and thought it was her. Her spirit hugged him, helping him gather his strength, but he did not know why his powers returned to him. Maybe this is the result of the intersection of timelines? Or a regressor trick? On October 11th, in 3 days, the gates of hell will open again. But even before the opening, there were people who knew about it. 8 prophets who were chosen by the 8 phases. All heavenly stars. They are the chosen saviors of humanity who have progressed incredibly quickly. Given what he remembers from the last 25 years of his life, he will be able to intercept many achievements and rewards that were available only to them. Today, October 8th, 2022, 3 days before the opening of the gates, he will take everything for himself. He went down to the subway and went into the fortune-teller's shop, where an old man met him. According to him, no one was supposed to come today. What brought him here? MC wanted to answer, but the old man didn't let him and turned into a demon. Yaksha's huge hand pinned MC to the wall, and the owner of it came out of the shadows and asked who he was. MC just wanted to pass the prophet's trials, but Yaksha was confused, because he couldn't know about this place unless someone told him. He guessed what the matter might be. They said from above that the selection process is still ongoing. That's why MC is here. He wants to get the place of the chosen one. So he came early. Yaksha was confused at first and then burst out laughing. He guessed that he is the regressor who killed as many as 666,666 highest-class demons. They all know that he shook the timeline. He threatened him with higher phases because this place is essentially their chessboard. By confusing their plans, he will anger them. MC got tired of it and plunged 3 swords into his hand. Actually, he wanted to cut it off, but his body is not ready for it yet. The demon was wrong. It was the phases that made regression possible. It is part of their plan. Yaksha got angry and wanted to hit him, but suddenly there was a loud bang, and his cheek was already burning from the blow, and then came the next one. Since he still could not understand his situation, MC decided to teach him a lesson. Being a regressor means that he has fulfilled the condition. Many high-class demons have fallen from his hand. At that moment, Yaksha felt fear. Although his race feeds on the fear of other creatures, He weakened greatly and turned into a small demon, after which MC told him two things. First, until the opening of the hellish gates, representatives of his race will not be able to kill people. This will be the rule. Second, the reason why he was looking for him, a certain bundle that he owns. MC also knows his name. He is a second-rank yaksha, Curio. According to him, they were very close. Then Curio was shocked. Was he really his servant? MC left this question unanswered, and Yaksha became very nervous under his gaze, and decided not to argue and just give him a huge bag. After that, MC had a store in the system. All the items in it were worth a huge number of demon heads. Since he had nothing, he asked Curio to give him Yaksha's scroll, but he refused. In order for him to be able to receive a gift from him, he must be on friendly terms with him, and he pierces him with swords, hits him in the face. Then MC pulled the swords out of his hand and even gave him money so that he would be friends with him. But Yaksha didn't need it. Obviously, in 3 days these pieces of paper would lose their value. But the protagonist convinced him otherwise. 2 years later, this money will save his life during a night of pitch darkness. He knows better what will soon become valuable and what will not. Curio hesitated, because he could lie to him, but whether to listen to the MC or not is his business. He only knows that 2 years later he will greatly regret his refusal. The demons still handed him the scroll and asked what he would do with it. He would record events. This would be his ticket to the trials of the prophets. He wrote something down on the scroll, and the space cracked. After which the protagonist entered the rift, and someone's huge eye immediately brought down its pressure on him. Despite this, he moved on, and Curio walked next to him, who turned away every time he looked at him. He justified following him by saying that he wanted to witness his painful death. But in reality, he was just curious about how he would steal the privilege of a prophet, and what he would do to himself. Choi Huisu's ghostly howl, an incomparable entity, one of the 8 battle stars, the lord of hundreds of resurrected monsters, he is practically immortal and was on par with the strongest of the stars, Alec. But for people, he became another piece of trash that had to be gotten rid of, because he was a psychopath. In order to resurrect monsters, he needed spare parts. Choi Huisu experimented on still living people to get good materials, and he got to him too. Curio reminded him that no matter how strong he was in his past life, now he is an ordinary person. He should be more careful. If only he knew whose peace he was disturbing now. But MC already knew. He disturbed the one who tortured him for 18 years. The system reported that he entered the chambers of the Lord of the Seven Snakes Yor, and the Lord himself was unhappy that Curio brought this man here. Entry is allowed only to the prophet, and he is not the prophet he chose. But according to MC, this was his biggest mistake. Seeing the huge eye of his snake, Curio excitedly told him who our MC was, but in Yor's opinion, he was still not suitable for the role of a prophet. Then the protagonist suggested that he try it himself, and suddenly memories of Soman's death began to scroll through his head over and over again. In one of them he saw Sua. The Lord of the Seven Snakes laughed and called him his follower. But the protagonist did not like it to such an extent that he rushed to attack and hit the snake in the eye. The Lord became interested in where he got this power. As MC thought, even though he is a supreme being, he does not know everything. This power was a consequence of his regression. Perhaps this is his reward for the dedication shown in trying to survive in that hell. With one click of the Lord, the passage to him opened. The protagonist's answer did not satisfy him, and he repeated the question. MC said that, in fact, he received this power from Choi Huisu. He voluntarily passed it on to him. Yor found this interesting and agreed to listen to him. The person who killed 666,666 demons really appeared, and if he achieved this, then he may have received the witness of the sun and moon. He thought it was a useless achievement, but he is deeply touched that he overcame this obstacle and came to him himself. But unfortunately, he has already chosen a prophet and his decisions are absolute. MC did not agree with him. Does he even know the conditions of regression? This means that he is the only one who survived, and the one he chose is not. Each of the chosen prophets died. He did not come here to beg for the position of the chosen one, but to give him a chance. If he does not choose him, he will go to others and bring them victory, and the prophet he chooses will be the first. Who will he kill? The Lord of the Seven Snakes was angered by his threat. He can kill him here and now. Why should he choose him? MC convinced him that only with him his chance of victory is real. According to the rules of the game, higher beings cannot kill him. Although he was not omniscient, when the gates of hell opened, he was the only one who survived. He guarantees that he will not fail this time either. Yor liked his words and summoned Choi Huisu, then immediately killed him, and changed the prophet's choice to MC. A magic circle appeared under his feet, granting him a special privilege, the snake treasury. They both moved to the treasury, where there were 3 doors. Although the only door that Yor can open for him is the copper one, he can take whatever he wants from there. After all, it is the prophet who will have to lead the people when the carnival begins. While the protagonist is at the very beginning, he decided to use all possible means and entered the open room, and Curio remained outside. Soon he left the treasury and returned to the subway with the little yaksha. The demon became curious about what he was doing there for so long. In fact, MC was choosing an item for himself and received the headdress of the monarch Leoric of the legendary rank. It gives strength, but charges a fee for sins. When used by a living being, the headdress sucks out the wearer's life force, and when used by a dead person, it grants great power. Curio was disappointed in his choice, because it was completely useless for a person, but suddenly he caught his stern look and flattered him. MC asked him to get his pouch, but he did not understand why, because he did not have heads. It turns out that MC took 100,000 heads from the treasury of Yor, and the Yaksha was worried that he would now owe him. But in fact, it is the Lord of Snakes who owes MC. He is worried that he may become a target for other prophets, because he is a regressor, and therefore gave him these heads. Although he still put forward a condition, a kind of test. He must do something equivalent to the feat of the regressor, something like killing 666,666 demons, and thus he received a legendary rank quest from him. At the behest of the protagonist, Curio found several good swords in the pouch for 100,000 heads. All these swords had too long a history, which the protagonist did not like. This means that a curse comes with the sword. He decided to take the second sword, the one that can turn him into a killer maniac if he becomes weak-willed. Since he still had heads left, he decided to buy some sheaths and a belt. But Curio just happened to have one and gave it to him for free because he bought a sword with a long description. And they are now friends. It was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but the stores in the subway were closed, and all because Yaksha placed a barrier around this area. When they went up to the streets of the city, Yaksha took the appearance of an old man, and MC was glad that he would not be late. Because of his words, Curio thought that he was definitely planning something for which he would need a sword. But he just needed to pick up his daughter from school, which the demon was very surprised at. MC spent both days before the opening of the hellish gates with his daughter. It was just a small island of peace before the destructive chaos. Finally, the day of the apocalypse came. His daughter was already aware of the upcoming events and even bought supplies. MC was a little surprised that she believed him, but she was sure that Dad would not tell a lie. They went to the cemetery to meet an old friend. The protagonist served with Myung-hoon and they became very close friends, but even after so many years, he respectfully addressed him as captain. Sumin was currently sleeping in the car, and they had an important conversation ahead. MC told him about the end of the world, but Myung-hoon did not believe him and thought that it was some kind of joke, but when he saw his serious face, he felt uneasy. Suddenly the earth shook, all the people were in a panic, only the protagonist was calm. Since he swore to kill everyone, he took out his sword, and in the meantime, goblins ran out of the gate and began to sow chaos. Myung-hoon was worried that his comrade was just standing there, but MC wanted to protect him and killed the goblins, after which he asked him to go for Somin. Realizing that he would not get answers from him about what was happening, Myung-hoon simply ran to carry out his order. Meanwhile, the protagonist continued to kill goblins, but suddenly a huge pile of monsters fell from a rift in the sky. Yor recently warned MC that he can command life force. If he suddenly wants to save someone, then he should be ready to give other people's lives in return. He must be selfish. This is the path of the protege of the Lord of Snakes. Whatever he does, he cannot avoid the stigma of a hypocrite. But despite this, MC needed this power, and at the moment he called for the defenders of the fatherland, after which spirits rose from the graves of soldiers and surrounded MC. The system reported that friendly spirits around resonate with him. They rise inside him. Now he can use the summoning of second-level souls. The number of souls that can be summoned exceeds his limit. 3 spirits are available for summoning. 3 soldiers crawled out of the ground and turned into his loyal warriors. Meanwhile, Myung-hoon pulled Somin out of the car, but she still did not wake up. Suddenly, one of the goblins pounced on him, but MC protected him. He decided to explain everything to him later and handed over his sword in order to deal with the goblins. It turns out that his friend used to practice kendo. The teacher forbade him to take a sword in his hands, but now was not the time for that. He loudly ordered the blade of hell to listen to him, and now it became clear why the teacher forbade him to take a sword in his hands. Meanwhile, several people climbed the high wall, but the child remained below. His mother, of course, rushed after him, but the people did not let her. One of the goblins got close to her son, but Myung-hoon immediately killed him and continued the fight with the others, and MC decided not to demonstrate his strength openly for now. So he entrusted the role of the crowd's favorite to his friend. In his past life, he was the leader of a resistance group, the Warrior Guardians. Choi Myung-hoon, the Sword of the Tai Mountains, and MC will guide him from the shadows. The spirits joined the fight, and Myung-hoon fought with them, killing many goblins, which made him tired. But suddenly there was a roar, and a goblin warrior appeared. The monster swung his sword and Myung-hoon blocked the blow, but the enemy was stronger, and he was thrown into the wall. The goblin immediately lost interest in him. According to MC, he headed to the memorial, a place chosen by the goblins to offer an offering to their leader. They intend to set up the memorial tower as a personal base, and if they do not lead them out of there, they will breed like cockroaches. Minhun was angry that they insulted this place, but their problems will not end with these creatures. In order to prevent them from breeding, they must kill their leader. They got closer to the memorial, although their leader looks small, but he knows how to cast spells, so the others follow him. MC put his daughter in a safe place. It turns out he put her to sleep so she wouldn't interfere, and then called on the spirits of the soldiers to help, and they entered the battle. MC threw a blade at the goblin warrior, which pierced his eye, and then got closer. The monster struck with a sword, but missed, and the protagonist at this time took out poison darts and pierced the goblin. The poison spread throughout the body and paralyzed him, after which Minhun swung his sword but could not cut his neck. The effect of the poison ended, and the goblin warrior screamed loudly and they retreated. The goblin rushed to attack in rage, and the moment he swung his sword, MC ducked and threw darts at him, which paralyzed the goblin again, and this time Minhun was able to finish the job and the monster's head separated from its body. They decided to go after the leader, but he was nowhere to be found. The protagonist turned to his friend and saw a sorcerer behind him. A bright flash almost reached his comrade, but one of the spirits took the blow, and MC now had 2 soldiers left. Myung-hoon rushed to attack the sorcerer. His sword collided with a magic shield, and then he was thrown back to the memorial. They decided to break the sorcerer's shield, using a little more force. But where would they get this force from? There was one way. Myung-hoon should let the sword do all the work. The main thing is not to let go of it. The system reported the activation of the spirit's eyes, and Myung-hoon's entire body was covered in an aura. Noticing this, the sorcerer called his subordinates and ordered them to kill them, and MC threw a blade towards them, which due to its low durability immediately breaks and generates a random deadly effect. In flight, the blade broke and exploded, setting several goblins on fire. The protagonist was unable to buy more time for his friend. Now it was up to him. Meanwhile, he was completely captured by dark energy. The executioner's soul had become attached to him and was now thirsty for blood. The ground under Myung-hoon's feet split from his firm stance. He suddenly shot up into the air and pounced on the sorcerer with a mad smile. Of course, the goblin created a shield, but the sword broke through it and pierced his chest. Thus, the sorcerer was killed, and the gates began to close. The spirits finished off the remaining ones, and the clouds over the cemetery finally dispersed. All participants within a radius of 150 and 50 meters were given a regular reward, and all participants who contributed to the victory will be given a reward regardless of the distance. A special reward will be given to the participant who dealt the final blow to the leader. Myung-hoon woke up. Although he killed the monster, he did not understand at all what happened. It was time to receive rewards. They received several trinkets, which Myung-hoon took for himself, and MC received a rare Goblin Lord's heart. But the user is required to have a predisposition to magic. But since they are talentless in magic, it was a useless thing for them, and MC decided to sell it when opening the next gate. The system offered him to look for subjects predisposed to magic, and it turns out that he did not even know about such an option. The system found the target, and the flow of light led the protagonist to his daughter, which he was very surprised about. It turns out that she has the highest legendary level of magical potential. Naturally, MC did not know about this, because he lost her after opening the gate. But he had never met people with such a rank even in his past life. He was upset. Is she also destined to stain her hands with blood? Myung-hoon decided to support him. He does not have to make a great magician out of her. Even if the world turns into hell, then children should live happier than them. Somin finally woke up and looked around, not understanding what was happening, and when she saw many corpses around, horror was reflected on her face. She was angry at her father for leaving her out of it. He said that they would go through all the obstacles together no matter what. He had nothing to say, so he just apologized, and suddenly a boy named Hoson came up to her. It turns out that his mother was killed by monsters, and now he was left alone. Somin began to calm him down, and MC felt guilty for trying to protect his child from all this because of his fear. But Myung-hoon supported him. It was natural, because he was her father. Somin offered to take the boy with them, to which her father categorically refused. Special shelters will appear soon. He will be safer there than with them. But Somin felt sorry for him, because he had no one left. She herself knew this feeling very well, because her father had already abandoned her when her mother died. These words seemed to hit the protagonist, and Yor appeared. He praised him for killing the goblin chieftain and told him that according to the plan, they would have built a citadel and filled the entire city before midnight. But now everything was confused. MC did not understand what this conversation was about. After all, it should be beneficial to him when he acts actively. Yor really does benefit from it, but the top brass protested. They do not like that he used the dead before the carnival began. It is improper to act while the pieces on the board are not yet in place. It is against the rules. Since he controlled the souls of the dead, he must pay for it with other people's lives. He pointed at the boy and demanded to kill him. After all, he does not need him anyway. Somin got very angry and hit him. After all, he has no right to decide who lives and who dies. These actions angered Yor and he grabbed her and pressed her against the wall with a crash, which scared MC, but the Lord of Snakes grabbed him too. Then Myung-hoon rushed to attack, but he was also captured. Yor was furious because of Somin and decided to change the condition. Now MC owes 2 lives for summoning the dead, and must make a choice. The life of his daughter, or these two? He pulled out the goblin heart from the protagonist's pocket, and a bright light rushed to Somin, which he was very happy about. It turns out that he knew about her predisposition to magic from the very beginning and deliberately arranged this whole circus. MC, of course, chose his daughter, and he felt sorry. But she did not blame him, and believed that he only makes the right choices. Her mother's soul calmed her down, freeing her from Yor's grip and contributing to the awakening of magic. She received mental magic and immediately took advantage of it, bringing down her powers on Yor. But he only liked it. With a slight wave of his hand he collected her magic and felt the legendary level in it. After that he let go of MC and became interested in his daughter, and in the meantime she continued to threaten him, but suddenly lost consciousness. According to Yor, mental magic requires quite a lot of mana. And for a child who has just awakened his power, this is too much. He extended his hand to her and MC rushed to him, threatening to kill him if he touches his daughter. But he was only trying to help her. He calmed her heavy breathing and told her that the higher beings like this development of events, so they will let him get away with what happened. But now he will have to protect her, not only from monsters, but also from the higher beings who liked her. MC reproached him for apparently intending to sit idly by, although he is his patron, but Yor has prepared something for him. He handed him the crystal core of the goblin citadel. This item was a reward for clearing out the goblins. The higher beings planned to give it out after the carnival, but he intercepted it for him. He was about to leave, but at the end, he warned that he would continue to watch him and that it was better for him to stay alive for the sake of his victory. After a while, Somin woke up in the car, not understanding what was happening. It turned out that MC took that boy, Hosung, to a shelter in Daejeon, which is run by his acquaintance, the military man Jin Soo-hyuk. Thanks to him, that shelter is the safest place in South Korea. Somin reacted with displeasure. If it is safe there, then why don't they go there? Instead, they will go to Seoul. After the gates are closed, new ones called dungeons will appear there. If they want to prevent the coming disaster, then they need the rewards for these dungeons. Now they just need to get stronger. While they were driving, the radio was broadcasting the news. Many roads were closed due to destruction. Myung-hoon was worried that their path would be difficult and wanted to take a different road, when suddenly he hit a goblin and the car swerved sharply to the side due to braking. As soon as the protagonist got out of the car, an arrow flew past his face and pierced the goblin behind him. The archer was a boy. He was scared when he realized that he almost killed him. It turns out that he killed all the goblins on this highway himself, and MC became interested in him. This boy's name is Jung Kyung-in. He is here because he needs to get to Seoul, since his father is there in the hospital. Now the protagonist understood why he did not see him in his past life. Most likely he just died. He told him to go home, but Kyung-in was determined to find his father and asked them to give him a ride. As payment, he showed a precious stone that appeared after killing monsters, which MC was very surprised about because it should not appear yet. They took the boy with them, and the stone turned out to be a rune of agility. There are 2 ways to gain power during the carnival: by developing a gift or by pumping up your statistics. A gift is a special talent that you have from birth, but it's dormant. And a statistics indicator is something that anyone can get if they work on developing it. Runes are unique items that can instantly increase these same indicators. Naturally, runes are in high demand, but the chances of getting it from a monster are minimal. But what if it wasn't just luck? It turns out that the boy's father, Jung Tae-ho, is a national archery champion, and it was he who taught him how to shoot. And now he's confined to a hospital bed. MC knew him. In his past life, he was a rune master, and he had an extremely rare gift that only he and one other girl, Anna Leon, had. Resistance groups around the world competed with each other to recruit him, but he's been in a coma for 7 years after an accident. Many tried to bring him back to normal. Even Saint Ira, one of the 8 battle stars, spent a lot of money to make a special healing elixir for him. However, contrary to her title, she is quite an evil and vengeful person. In the end, she killed Jung Tae-ho for refusing to join her group, but this time everything will be different. Before going to the hospital, he decided to drop by somewhere, which the children were very outraged about, because something bad could happen in the hospital. But MC was calm, considering the situation. In Korea, they are carrying out a massive rescue operation, using all available forces, including the army and firefighters. In times like these, preserving medical institutions is given the highest priority, so it is now much safer there than on such a clogged road. Now the priority is collecting heads, with which he can get the elixir and cure Jung Taeho. The price of it is 400,000 heads. It is almost impossible to collect such a sum of money quickly, but Kyung-in was lucky. They were just heading to the dungeon. Somin calmed her new friend down, telling him that her dad knew everything, because he was living for the second time. No matter how strange it sounded, the boy decided to trust them and wondered where they could buy this elixir. But soon he would find out everything himself. An explosion was heard on the bridge. What MC expected happened. The cause of the explosion was the Yaksha Curio. He addressed the people and advised them to listen to him carefully. From that moment on, they are participants in the carnival, and its organizers, phases, will recruit profits from them. People began to be indignant, but he immediately shut them up with his loud roar that scorched the earth. Since all the necessary information will be entered into the consciousness of the carnival participants, he decided to make a simple announcement, but suddenly someone honked at him. It was MC. At the sight of him, Curio lost his image of a formidable demon and asked him to spare his dignity in front of such a large number of onlookers. But the protagonist only needed his heart bag from him, but Curio did not want to give it to him so easily. They did not even sign a contract. Even the protagonist's threats did not work. Yaksha was very nervous, since according to the rules he cannot give it to him, otherwise his life will be in danger, considering that the carnival has already begun. Kinyin, meanwhile, was surprised that he was talking to the monster so easily, but Myung-hoon explained this with his second life. Even if he does something strange, it is normal. Still, MC and Curio were able to agree on something and Yaksha continued the announcement. The protagonist received some survival items from him and drew attention to the huge dome. They might need these things there. Suddenly, information about the carnival poured into Kyung-in's head and he was very confused. MC explained that the Yaksha was implanting this information into people's heads. It was his duty to organize the grand opening. The boy finally realized that all these words about the second life and the carnival were true, and they decided to move on. Myung-hoon would stay and go by car to Sinchon. There was an exit from the dungeon, so they would meet as soon as he finished. The guy was surprised. Did he really want to take the children with him and leave him, an adult, aside? But a full-scale battle called the Time of Troubles would also take place in Sinchon. A fixed number of monsters appear from the gate. Even if they are quickly closed, these monsters will still fall upon the city. Accordingly, people are in danger. That's why MC entrusted him with the mission of protecting people. Myung-hoon was glad that he entrusted him with such an important matter and agreed. Of course, losses are inevitable, but MC should not miss the opportunity to earn so many goals at once. He has to buy an elixir, and this is a good opportunity to win the trust of the Rune Master. After that, he and the children went to the dungeon. There, Kyung-in had already managed to kill a couple of monsters, and Somin dealt with them with magic. In fact, MC did not have to do anything, all the work went to the children. All these monsters reminded Somin of zombie TV series and started a conversation about games with Kyung-in, during which she felt a little sick and her dad reminded her to watch her powers so that she did not catch an overload. They went further, and Kyung-in shot from around the corner into the crowd of zombies. Each shot hit the head. It turns out the secret of his accuracy was that he seemed to see the target much closer. This happened after the opening of the first gate. MC suspected that this was his gift, but besides this, Kyung-in began to feel something else. But he was not sure yet. Suddenly, Somin noticed a chest at the other end of the hall and immediately dealt with the monsters, naively running for the reward. Her father warned her about the danger, but because of the magic she did not hear anything. The girl did not even imagine that the chest could be a trap. On the orders of MC, Kyung-in shot at it, and immediately there was an explosion. Fortunately, the stupid girl was alive, and the protagonist breathed a sigh of relief. He explained to her that in such dungeons there are traps, and she would have died if she opened it, but judging by her reaction, she did not think about her safety at all, and was only upset that it was a dud. But this was not so. There was a reward in the chest, a key to the room with the boss. They reached the room behind which the King of Ghouls is hiding, and Myung-hoon meanwhile was stuck in a traffic jam. Suddenly an announcement about the evacuation was heard from the loudspeakers and people ran away in panic, and clouds thickened over the city. The gates are opening, and a time of troubles is coming. Meanwhile in the dungeon, the plan of action was discussed. In addition to the king, there are 4 elite zombies inside. Until they deal with them, the boss will not fall. Even if they kill them one by one, the Ghoul King will endlessly resurrect them. For this case, MC bought something from Curio, a rare paladin pendant roll, which grants the wearer the power of purification. With this, they can slow down the resurrection of zombies, but suppressing all four at the same time is a challenge. Meanwhile, tanks were placed on the city street, the situation worsened, and air support was needed. But even taking into account the fact that there were no civilians nearby, the military did not want to strike, because the media would blame them for the destruction of the city, but these were just excuses. The squad captain, Kang Hojin, was furious that they wanted to sacrifice them to save face, and threw down the phone. But suddenly, one of the soldiers reported the approach of a civilian car, and at the wheel was some kind of psycho, knocking down everything in his path. Meanwhile, MC entered the boss room and summoned 3 spirits, and Somin shot the enemy with magic. Meanwhile, Kyungin tried to dodge the monster, and then shot the already wounded zombie in the head. The spirits entered the battle, and together they cut one zombie into pieces, after which the protagonist used the amulet on it and went to the others. The children dealt heavy blows to the monsters, and he walked and shone the pendant at everyone. Suddenly the king of ghouls spoke, but only Somin understood his words. He told his warriors to come back to life. MC assumed that she understood him because of the connection with the spirit of Sua. If her mother's soul interfered with the awakening process, then this could explain her newfound magical power. But this is just a theory. The zombies recovered and rushed into battle with renewed vigor. He cannot cope with them with only the pendant, so MC decided to try something new and asked his daughter to hit it with her magic. He decided to use the pendant as a mirror to redirect the volley and blow everyone away with one blow. Suddenly the monster struck, but he managed to react and jumped to the side. Seeing how he was surrounded from all sides, Somin became worried and could not shoot. Her view was blocked. Then Kyungin pierced the zombies' heads with an arrow, and the path for her magic opened. But suddenly, the monster knocked the mirror out of the protagonist's hands and it broke. And then his spirits fell. The Ghoul King burst out laughing. But this is not the end. MC picked up the shards and threw them at 2 zombies, and grabbed the third one by the head and gave a signal to Somin. 2 streams of magic rushed forward at high speed and killed 3 zombies at once, after which MC headed towards the boss, but the 4th monster pounced on him. Without slowing down, the protagonist continued to approach the king, and the soldier's spirit dealt with the interfering zombie, and then pierced the head of the main monster. It seemed like everything was over, but suddenly the king's ribs jumped out of his chest and pierced the protagonist's chest. Meanwhile, Myung-hoon reached the line of defense. It turns out that he and the squad captain were familiar. He told him about the imminent appearance of MC. Until then, they should hold this position. Hojun could not give him a firearm, but he did not need it. He had a sword with him. His friend was very surprised by this. How will he fight monsters with a sword which even bullets do not take? But times have changed. Firearms are now useless. Instead, Myung-hoon gave him a weapon, and together they stood up for defense. Meanwhile, Somin was very afraid for her father, but Kyungin calmed her down and decided to take care of it himself. His demeanor suddenly changed. Apparently, it was all about the skill in which he was unsure, but now he could use it to the fullest. His arrow whistled through the chest of the Ghoul King, and MC was surprised. Was his weak point really his chest and not his head? On Kyungin's orders, Somin hit the enemy's hands with magic, and the protagonist still couldn't understand the meaning of such attacks. His daughter hit again, but the monster reflected the magic and pounced on her, and Kyungin fired again. Now the monster no longer moved and its body crumbled to dust, and MC became curious about how the boy killed it. It turns out that he saw glowing spots on its body. Consecutive hits on them, and killing the monster bring runes as a reward, but not all monsters glow. MC examined the rune that dropped from the monster. Killing the Ghoul King usually does not reward with such. Is it because of the guy's abilities, or is it just a matter of chance? If the first option, then he can get a lot of runes by combining his skills with his father. For the victory, they were given a chest with a reward for the whole team. The contents turned out to be very valuable. In total, the cost of things was estimated at 151,500 heads, but Kyungin received gloves that enhance concentration. But there is one nuance. It stinks. Concentration helps in everything, from creating magic items to using magic. For this you can fight the smell. The main reward was a bunch of old keys that can open the treasury of the King of Ghouls. There is a key for each of the team. The protagonist gave everyone a key, and the children began to wonder which door to choose, but MC did not know. He was here for the first time. He only knows that the person who cleared this place received the crown of Kundal. This is a valuable item for necromancers. Kyungin doubted him, because how is it that he is a regressor, but does not know anything? It is a pity that his little empty head is not given to understand that even regressors do not know everything in the world. They decided to hurry, and everyone went into the treasury. MC found himself in a huge tower. On each floor there were rooms with different things. He passed by the room with the spiked blade Mornew. As he thought, only the name was written, but there was no description. He saw this weapon in his past life. These are twin blades that were used by the Japanese demon hunter Shinomiya. He went further and noticed a room with the Book of Balance. He had previously wondered how to get it. It turns out that everything is so simple. The book had a very long description. In short, this book can exchange one item for a random another. The rank of the received item varies from common to rare, regardless of the wound given. It disappears after use. After that, he left the treasury. The children had already managed to choose a reward for themselves, and Somin boasted to him about her bracelet, which restores magical power in a dream. But Kyungin, due to his age, stupidly chose a cool sword for himself, despite the fact that he is an archer, which the protagonist was clearly not delighted about. Meanwhile, the battle began on the defense line. Myung-hoon and his comrade were cutting down the monsters, but they continued to advance. Hojun liked this weapon, but he was already starting to get tired, and Myung-hoon decided to make a joke about his endurance. But did he have the strength to joke, seeing all this? The monsters were advancing from all sides. The troops were at their limit and wanted to retreat, but Myung-hoon objected, because then Sinchon would be in danger. At the same moment, a blade flew at his friend and he was exposed to the blow. The tip was smeared with paralyzing poison, and Myung-hoon could no longer move. His comrade became worried and wanted to help him, but he refused and with his last strength rose to his feet because they needed to protect Sinchon. He also told him to fight not as a soldier, but as Kang Hojun. These words instilled confidence in him, and he headed towards the goblins in a rage. Meanwhile, the news channel was broadcasting live from the scene. According to the witness, the soldier was too fierce to be called a human because he tore the goblins apart with his bare hands like they were sheets of paper. But he was not alone. There was another man with him with a giant sword. The reporter asked, did he think that they could be prophets? Yesterday at a press conference, a British actor, Alec Treman, said that prophets are coming who are destined to save the earth. But the witness called them destroyers who act on their own. Meanwhile, the female goblin killed one soldier and became nervous when she saw Hojun approaching her. Her husband stepped forward to protect her, and Myung-hoon meanwhile thought that this monster was another chieftain, and since his friend was not strong enough to fight him alone, he decided to use a car nearby. Meanwhile, the goblin struck the soldier with a blow, which he blocked, and immediately struck back, surprising the enemy with his strength. Kang Hojun, call sign, Ogre. He was naturally able to control his breathing. Using this feature, he could minimize the blood flow to his brain, and this is done in order to save oxygen used by the brain. The brain of an adult absorbs about 20% of the oxygen supplied through the respiratory system. In other words, the average value of oxygen used by it is 600 milliliters per minute, and it also requires a significant amount of glucose. By using high-quality blood to work the muscles instead of the brain, he sacrifices some of its functions and gains superhuman strength, coupled with increased regeneration of muscle fibers. This is the mode of the ogre Kang Hojun. From his blow, the goblin fell to his knees, and when the soldier was about to finish him off, his wife ran to the defense and plunged a dagger into Hojun. Her husband was very afraid for her, but she decided to sacrifice herself and smiled at last, after which she died. Even among goblins, there is drama and tragedy. Her husband could not stand this, and in a rage hit the soldier and then jumped on him, slamming him into the ground. There is only one flaw in ogre mode because of the limited blood flow to the brain. The person literally becomes dumb and begins to slowly die. Usually, people die within a few seconds after the blood flow to the brain stops. Because ogre mode does not completely block the blood flow, he can last a little over 5 minutes, but this is still very little. At this point, Hojun has 1 minute left. Suddenly, a car drove out of nowhere and pinned the goblin to the wall, and Myung-hoon got out of it, worried about his friend, but suddenly an explosion was heard from behind. The goblin got out and with tears in his eyes went to avenge his wife. Hojun guessed who he was sad about, but they also killed civilians and soldiers, so he did not feel sorry for them at all. The last 7 seconds remained, and they pounced on each other. In the end, the goblin died, and Hojun was exhausted. The goblins surrounded them and they were already preparing for death, but suddenly they both felt a chill in the air. The goblins that attacked them were frozen, and MC came to their aid. He quickly cut the frozen goblins, and the kids finished off the rest. They dealt with them pretty quickly, and Myung-hoon became interested in how they got here without a car. It turns out they left the dungeon at the subway station and dealt with the monsters swarming there. Now, they were going to go to the hospital, but Kyungin was confused by his words that, with the dungeon reward, they would be able to buy an elixir. But they didn't even have close to 400,000 heads. But MC never said anything like that and showed them his reward in the dungeon. He decided to check how this book works and fed it to an already unnecessary mirror. After which the book's rank increased. Unlike the previous level, the exchange now occurs for an item of the same rarity type and higher, and also increases the level of the received item. Because of this, MC decided to put the highest class item they have in the book, a giant sword. In exchange for this, MC received the epic rank sword of the repentant Tanyan. Tanyan's grievances disappeared, but the blood was absorbed even deeper into the blade and tempered it. Now, when blood touches the blade, it receives a special boost. Now this sword is not possessed, but it seems that because of the epic rank, it can choose its owner. It also has a special effect. It absorbs the blood of the bearer and gives a small chance to gain control over a suitable monster. Myung-hoon was not upset about the loss of his weapon and was only happy for his friend because it suits him much more. But now the question arose, what weapon should he use? Then the protagonist gave him the ice sword Kyung-in, which he carefully chose because he knew this would happen, and it was definitely not because of the cool name and appearance. Kyung-in still did not calm down about 400,000 heads, but MC told him not to worry. He killed all the goblins in the subway station and received the title of the ruler of the goblins. Thanks to this, he now has access to their storage, and from there he took out 550,000 heads. This is more than enough to buy the elixir. Kyung-in was not very happy, but it does not matter. It is time to go. Ho-jun and Myung-hoon will go to a press conference and pretend to be prophets so that they will be in the spotlight, and no one will find out about the protagonist. And he and the children will go to the hospital. When they arrived, they felt that something was wrong. Even if several goblins got into the hospital, with the appearance of the army and the police, everything should be fine. Kyung-in was worried about his father and took them to the intensive care unit, but on the way there was a quiet cry for help. The children did not react, but MC approached the frightened girl and she told him what happened. Some suspicious people appeared here and turned the hospital upside down. They started killing and taking heads. She extended her hand to him and asked for help, and he pretended that he would help her up now, but suddenly grabbed her wrist sharply. Meanwhile, the children finally noticed the disappearance of the protagonist, but Kyung-in did not care about him, and therefore he convinced So-min to go further, because her father was living a second life and probably left for something important, although he himself did not believe in his regression. Meanwhile, MC noticed a ring with a shakhan needle on the girl's hand. It is poisonous and more effective against people. The culprit who caused all this chaos in the hospital is quite obvious. She immediately waved a dagger in front of his face, but he dodged, and she still could not understand how he was able to recognize her. But all thanks to the rune of loyalty that MC received in the dungeon. The girl was slightly surprised that the runes had already begun to appear. But in her opinion, it was even better. Since he was in the dungeon, he must have other rewards, so she decided to kill him. Although she felt sorry for him, she liked him. But the protagonist was loyal to his wife, and she immediately pounced on him, and he grabbed her arms and threw her aside, which upset her, because she thought that he would be a little more active in the fight. Of course, MC could quickly and easily deal with her, but he cannot forget about his public image. Even if she is a disgusting person, killing her will attract unnecessary attention. But since there's no one else here except them, he pulled out his new sword and she was very surprised, because it is not so easy to buy, even if you kill a lot of zombies. He immediately rushed to attack and swung his sword, cutting her blade in two. In a world where the apocalypse has come, Jae-suna was like a newborn lion cub with an innate talent that allows her to become the king of beasts. Usually a newborn lion cub, like any other mammal, is full of curiosity, specifically the sporting interest of a predator that feels the thrill of chasing different species. It's as if it's tasting its own strength. Everything changes the moment it encounters it. The feeling that overwhelms it at such a moment is not at all like curiosity. And this is fear. A previously unknown feeling that dulls even primal instincts. A force beyond physics or authority, and the lion cub, who until that moment had been frolicking boldly on the hunting grounds, freezes in place from the overwhelming absolute force. Sona ran in horror. He would get her, and if she did not dodge, she would die. In an attempt to survive, her body moved on its own, and she did not keep track of it, which is why she fell. Seeing his sword above her, she was already prepared for death, but suddenly So-min's voice saved her from an inevitable fate. He and Kyung-in found his father, but they don't have the elixir, so they came for it. Seeing her father with a sword in his hands, So-min began to suspect something was wrong, and then he remembered his friend Clark. He said that even if he goes back in time, he shouldn't kill everyone. He is the punisher of the gods. The one who will put an end to their insane reign. Not a murderer. The protagonist realized that he almost killed this woman in front of his daughter and lied that he just scared her. Sun's fear receded, and before going to the hospital room, MC learned her name and threatened that he remembered her. Jung Tae-ho was still unconscious. He was given the elixir to drink, and his eyes immediately opened. Meanwhile, in the English Emergency Response and Management Center, a girl named Johanna came to Alec to discuss that video with Myung-hoon and Hojun. Alec thinks that if this is not a fake, then two more incredible people have appeared in Korea. Their comrade, a guy named Hansen, will like that soldier, Hojun, and Johanna is shocked by the weapon he used, and his partner's sword is also not found in every pocket. Alec reminded that items are different for each region and prophet, but the girl was still sure that it is a rare item. Alec took out his weapon and admitted the possibility that the guy could very well be a prophet like him. But even so, he would rather believe that the prophet is the man standing next to him, and not the soldier himself. If he is a prophet, then it is understandable why he uses a specialized weapon. If they want that guy, then they will still need to meet Hojun. But Johanna was outraged that Korea is now in the spotlight. After all, they planned everything somewhat differently. They should be in the spotlight, or more precisely, Alec. According to him, only he can be the savior. Hansen offered to recruit them, and it would be better to do it before they switched sides to another prophet. But if they refused, then they would just get rid of them. Meanwhile, Kyungin and his father had already managed to split up with the protagonist, and he, his daughter, and Myung-hoon returned home, but there was nothing left of the house. Apparently that idiot Yaksha, whom Kuryo was now scolding, hit the wrong coordinates. But in such a case, MC prepared a spare dwelling, and they went there. And on the way he told them that he built it in case of an attack by North Korea. After a journey lasting a whole night, they reached the bunker. There is food and other essentials. But since modern architecture is not quite suitable for surviving the apocalypse, he decided to improve it with the help of the crystal core of the Goblin Citadel. The entire bunker turned into a small dugout and began to crumble right before their eyes. But it's okay. MC will develop it, and soon it will become a safe home for them. Myung-hoon laughed nervously. And Somin already wanted to move out. No one was impressed by the prospect of living in this ruin. Having decided that Alec had already contacted Hojun, MC decided to start implementing his plan and called him. It's not clear where he got his contacts from though, but oh well. In the meantime, he and his comrades were already on their way to Korea and answered the call. MC warned him that the prophet of the Pathfinder of the Mist was watching him, which surprised him greatly. The prophet of the Pathfinder's skills lie in foresight. This is a superpower, but he most likely cannot use it at will yet. If what he was told on the phone was true, then the prophet of the Pathfinder knows that he is heading to Korea right now. He decided to reschedule the meeting with Hojun. Now he must change the future. Meanwhile, Myung-hoon warned MC about the postponement of the meeting, but he was curious about why. MC told him about what Alex said, that Erika Ninagawa was following him. He has no connection with her, but it was important to make Alec think that she was nearby. He is timid and distrustful, so for now he is just waging psychological warfare with him, and he also wants to make Erika show up. As soon as she sees the future they created, she will rush over. He warned that he will go on business and told his friend to stick to the plan, and he was curious about what will happen if the three prophets get together. Nothing special. They will just protect Korea for them, starting from the second gate of hell. Meanwhile, the prophet has already landed in Korea, and the first thing he decided to do was to look around the meeting place. But Hansen was hungry, and since they might have a fight ahead, they decided to go to a restaurant. There they ordered national Korean dishes, and Hansen suggested taking a walk before meeting Hojun. During the walk they tried on national costumes, ate street food, and also went on a picnic. Johanna really liked this country despite the fact that they had Hell's Gates here. The city's infrastructure is still functioning, and it is difficult for her to explain this even by the presence of a prophet. Alec noticed that the eternally stern Johanna softened after the walk, and she sheepishly went to the meeting place. Meanwhile, MC arrived at a high-rise building and met with the prophet of the Pathfinder of the Fog, Erika Ninagawa. Sometime later, Alec arrived at the meeting place alone in the same building, but remained in touch with his comrades. It is extremely difficult to organize an ambush at such a height, so he was not worried about Myung-hoon doing something. Johanna decided to disconnect so that they would not be eavesdropped, and said that they would wait for him at the appointed place, after which Hojun appeared. The prophet immediately started with pleasantries and extended his hand to him, but Hojun ignored his gesture, and he suspected that he might know about his skill, Moon Vision. It is a skill that can determine the strength of an opponent. If he knows about this, then he might know about his other abilities as well. Maybe he even knows the fact that he used the Eye of the Sun to find and recruit Johanna and Hansen. He might not have come here alone either. Since this is just a guess, he decided to maintain a cooperative attitude and shared his impressions of how Korea had surprisingly defended itself, when even England, which had a prophet like him, suffered huge losses. He and his partner had done a good job. Hojin decided to shift all the credit to the army and the help of civilians, but the prophet told him not to be modest. He came to discuss their achievements. But if that was the case, Hojin advised him to talk to Myung-hoon since he received the weapons from him. Seeing his comrade, Alec only became more confident in his guess that he is a prophet. They introduced themselves to each other. But even Myung-hoon did not shake Alec's hand, and this convinced him that they knew for sure about his abilities. They exchanged a couple of pleasant phrases, and when Alec asked if he was a prophet, he neither confirmed nor denied it, since he could not trust him. Suddenly, Myung-hoon named the place where Johanna and Hansen were now, and Alec was very surprised, because even if he is a Pathfinder prophet, his power should still be at least partially dormant. He got excited and started talking about uniting the forces of the prophets because of a common threat, since only they can save the world, and therefore he plans to create an international union. He is here only to invite him to join and show the powers of his comrades. After such a fiery speech, Myung-hoon said that he is just playing a hero. His speeches are loud, but in fact he is just interested in power. After all, he wants to lead a union that can control all countries. The prophet smiled nervously at the realization that he even understood this, then took out his sword and swung it, releasing a wave of energy. Hojin protected his friend, and Alec, deciding that he was the real prophet of the Ranger of the Mist, decided to kill him. Meanwhile, Erica and MC started a conversation. He hasn't seen her for a long time. It seems they knew each other from his past life. He became curious about her thoughts on the future that he planned. Alec and Myung-hoon met, the latter posing as the prophet of the Ranger, and the former now wants to get rid of him. However, if he finds out that she is the prophet of the Ranger of the Mist, then he will come for her. So she has no choice but to make an alliance with MC before Alec comes. After all, he is a regressor and he knows the future even without foresight. She will even have to play by his rules, but she still threw away her pride and came. Erica agreed with him. She doesn't remember the future like he does, but she can glimpse into it. MC handed her the phone, from which Alec's words about killing the prophet were heard, and Myung-hoon repeated it for her one more time. At this point, Alec realized that he is not a prophet and was confused, and then a man named Igor appeared out of nowhere behind him and hit him, since he is a fan of Erica and will not tolerate threats towards her. Alec was furious and accused Myung-hoon of deceiving him, but he actually did not deceive him, since he did not tell him about his abilities. He simply threw the bait and he stupidly took it. Igor hit Alec again? An ordinary person would die from such a blow, and he began to wonder who this Erica was, since she had such a strong bully under her command. Did Myung-hoon deceive him here too? Is he really not a prophet, or is he one but deceives him by creating an artificial personality named Erica? Or maybe they are all at Erica's beck and call. Now his head was in complete disarray, and a man's voice distracted him from his thoughts. He somehow found out that the prophet was now thinking about Erica and hit him again. Meanwhile, Erica found out about Alec from MC. Undoubtedly, he had good intentions too. Every person dreams of ideas about a better world, but only a few can realize such ambitions, and in this regard, Alec is special. Among the 8 battle stars, the witness of the sun and moon gives the prophet the greatest advantage at the beginning of the carnival. It is easier for him to pretend to be a superior being, full of humanity, in order to achieve his personal goals, and at the same time help people. However, what the witness of the sun and moon really wants is to see the human world overflow with greed in order to satisfy his perverted taste. For this, Alec Treman was chosen. But what about MC himself? Is he trying to say that he is not like that? Since Erica's powers are just starting to develop, she needs proof from the distant future, and a guarantee that he will not betray her and put an end to humanity. What she really wanted to know was what would happen in the end if she didn't follow the regressor, and MC understood that perfectly well. Meanwhile, Alec dodged the man's attack, and immediately swung his sword, and the energy wave destroyed the pillar, and his opponent dodged the attack and told him that he was a natural-born killer. So a lousy actor like him could never dream of such a thing. The prophet suddenly appeared behind him and replied that he didn't learn martial arts in Hollywood at all, but in SLS. Hojin realized that he meant the assassin group that was disbanded a couple of years ago and decided to help Igor, but Myung-hoon didn't understand why. Can't he see his fighting spirit? Igor turned to them and asked them for help with his lips, but Myung-hoon thought that he told them something completely different and decided to enjoy the spectacle. Igor asked for their help again, but this time loudly and pouring out all sorts of insults. Because of this, that they joined the fight, Alec got even more angry and struck a blow, under which only Manhwa and Hojun could resist. The prophet paid attention to his sword and did not believe that he blocked his blow with it. It cannot be that he bought equipment at the level of the sword that the Supreme Being gave him. But Manhwa was silent. In fact, it was the protagonist's sword, and he cannot fully control it, because it is submissive only to MC. But still, the sword decided to obey him once, and streams of a strong aura played around the guy, because of which Alec got nervous, and the next moment he saw a bright flash flying at him. He quickly reacted and cut it down, and Hojun took the opportunity to get very close to him to strike, and said that SLS is nothing. Then the prophet successfully stopped him and offered him to deal with the 3 former SLS members, after which Johanna hit him on the back of the head and Hansen dealt with Manhwa. After that, he offered Alec to retreat, but he wanted to cut off his opponent's heads, and then his comrade told about his concern about Igor. He used to work for a Russian association of assassins called Sunset, and their leader is a stronger and cooler guy. If they kill him, they can provoke his boss. Suddenly Hojun grabbed him and Johanna was confused. She definitely knocked him out. But for Hojun, her blow was nothing, because he is a real ogre, which greatly surprised Johanna. She wondered if this means he has a hidden gift. Manhwa told her that he was born like this, just a machine, a man superior to other people. Hojun threw Hansen aside, which scared Johanna. She was surprised at how he concentrated his blood circulation in his muscles, because he threw Hansen so easily with one hand. Johanna got angry that Hojun had no shortage of strength and used the energy of the tail of a 9-tailed fox of the highest magical rank. She is sure that she has an advantage in the form of techniques and began to strike Hojun's body. He grabbed the energy trail with his hand and pulled Johanna towards himself, and then struck, throwing her back. Suddenly, he began to look around, because he did not understand where Johanna went. After all, he struck. Johanna appeared behind Hojun and grabbed him by the neck, hanging on his body. Manhwa was very surprised that Johanna just dodged Hojun's cross-slash in the blink of an eye. Johanna was strangling Hojun with her hands, and Manhwa knew that SLS are not just trained fighters. She can see through all the weaknesses of the ogre, and Johanna used a chokehold to instantly cut off the blood flow. Manhwa was unhappy. Where did Alec get such a talented person? He decided that he needed to do something, when suddenly Alec ordered Johanna to stop. He decided to cut this brainless carcass in half himself and swung his sword. But Manhwa blocked the blow, which angered Alec even more. Alec did not understand how he was able to get up and start talking nonsense again. According to Manhwa, it was just stubbornness. Alec ordered him to shut up. He was already sick of him. According to Manhwa, it was clear that this was not enough to break his tenacity. These words only angered Alec even more, and they continued to fight with swords. Manhwa understood that a prophet is a prophet. They only exchanged a few blows, and his hand was already tired. Alec called Manhwa a coward, since he only knows how to block. So where is his vaunted tenacity? Manhwa was exhausted. He cannot resonate with the spirit of the sword 100%, and without the magic of the spirits of Namgun, he certainly cannot. It was a miracle that Manhwa was able to go so far with Alec, with a sword that originally did not belong to him. This really pissed him off. But he could not defeat Alec. Now he could only hold on until the moment Namgun spoke of. Alec offered to accept Manhwa's fate and stop clinging to life. Suddenly, a loud cry for help was heard, which attracted the attention of the guys. Hojun was throwing Johanna against the wall, but she wasn't going to let him go, because this monster would kill them all. She asked someone to help her, but quickly. Alec didn't even move to come to the rescue, and Hojun finished Johanna off against the wall and threw her off. Hansen caught her and said that she did well. Hojun was very surprised how Hansen was able to resurrect. According to Hansen, his body is well trained, so it won't break so easily. But to describe his emotions honestly, it was very painful for him. He even passed out, but now he decided to bluff a little. Hojun was very surprised, but he knew that he was stronger. According to Hansen, his Korean is worse than him because he poured everything into his strength, but he should have left a little brain, as he does, and used high-tech equipment, like him. Hansen used an explosive blaster of the magical highest rank. This is a glove that was created for stormtroopers by the magical engineering country of Alcester. There was a bright explosion that scared Manhwa a lot, but Alec decided to take advantage of it. It was careless to take his eyes off Alec Tremont. He swung his sword and struck Manhwa, spilling his blood. He said that it was over, and on the floor lay the dead bodies of Manhwa and Hojun. Alec ordered his assistants to behead the 2 Koreans and take the Russian bandit with them and interrogate him. Alec will not kill this guy from Sunset, as Hansen asked. He wondered, is this okay with him, right? Hansen was happy to hear these words. and Johanna approached the body of Hojun, because of whom she already thought that her back would break. She activated her energy thread and asked, "Can she kill this Hojun? She wants to take revenge on that ogre for her back." Suddenly Myung-hoon told them to go to hell. He didn't die at all. Everything around started shaking, which scared Alec very much, and started looking around. He saw that huge monsters were approaching the building, which were emerging from the open second hell gate. The second stage of the carnival has begun. They need to survive. Alec turned around and Myung-hoon showed him his phone and said that he was getting a call. It was time to pick up. Alec snatched the phone and asked irritably, "What?" The MC on the other end of the call asked how he was doing. Alec got angry. Him again? He was sure that MC was behind all this nonsense related to Erica. He would find him, he would track him down and kill him. MC asked Alec, did he mean after he survived? If he did not hurry, he would be in trouble. Alec called him names and realized that MC knew it would happen like this. MC wished him good luck in fighting the monsters and to try to survive. If Alec was lucky, he would be famous as the English prophet who saved Korea. Alec smashed his phone and ordered to kill them all. Prophets or not, there is no point in sparing them. Johanna activated her energy thread and said that it would be done. Suddenly, Hansen screamed and grabbed her, throwing her aside, barely managing to dodge. Alec looked towards the broken window and was scared. Was that a sniper? An arrow shot from the ground reached all the way here. Is that even possible? Namgung recruited someone with professional shooting skills? Suddenly, while Alec was thinking, another arrow was aimed at him, and then several more. Alec realized that they can't stay here, they urgently need to retreat. Johanna turned around and told Hojun to consider himself lucky. Myung-hoon sat up even though he was almost dead. He asked Hojun if he was okay. But from Hojun's words, it was clear that he would not do such a thing again. At this time, Erica saw the portal open, just as MC promised. According to her, the opening time of the gate had changed due to the rapid closing of the first hell gate. Even if MC was a regressor, how did he guess the timing? MC not only remembers the future, he also has various information that no one else has. He believes that Erica knows the following, that dungeons began to appear on all continents after the closing of the first Hellgate. Erica asked how the Ghoul King's tomb was. She knows because Japan also went through it. MC agreed with her. Many powerful people from all over the world found these dungeons and passed them. This is the hidden condition of the Hellgate. When all the world's dungeons are completed, a new Hellgate opens. In MC's life, the last country to complete a dungeon was Japan. He turned to Erica. If she was here, it meant the completion, so he called her here for the opening of a new gate. Erica was surprised. MC knows everything to such an extent that he doesn't even need to look into the future. According to MC, they are not so different, and the current life will not pass in the same way as he remembered the past anyway. His prediction of the opening of the Hellgate was specific due to luck. Memories of the past are not enough. In such moments, Erica, a prophet who looks into the future, surpasses the regressor. Erica asked what MC wants from her. According to MC, nothing special, she just needs to close the second gate together with him. He was able to handle the first one, but this one may not work. Erica knows that airports and harbors are not working. It seems she has no other choice if she wants to return to Japan. He got her. This time they will lend a helping hand, the Ninagawa warriors. As MC expected, she would never come alone. The guys entered the room and Katsumata introduced himself. MC did not expect the leader of the intertwining to come to Korea. Erica was very well prepared. Erica did not understand how could she know whether the regressor was her enemy or her friend. She could not come unprepared. MC understands this, it's time to get down to business. He decided to explain the strategy for dealing with the Hellgate monsters. First, do not pay attention to the Hellgate itself. Katsumata did not understand his words. Was he being sarcastic now? According to MC, no, someone else will take care of them. Katsumata began to question him, but doesn't the boss appear from the Hellgate? Then where? MC pointed his gaze to the side and replied, over there. A huge water serpent was creating a vortex in the sea. It is the boss of the second Hellgate, the terror of the oceans, an underwater beast. It is a huge creature, but according to MC, there is a way to deal with the creature. There is a weakness common to all snake-like magical creatures, a scale located under the chin that is different from the others. Katsumata thought it was too easy if you need to get rid of a scale. MC confirmed his words. That is true, but they cannot even scratch it with a weapon weaker than rare. As far as Erica knows, the only one who has a weapon of rare rank or higher is Aniclimax. Katsumata wondered if MC called Aniclimax to break that scale. According to MC, no, if he did that, then Alec would take all the credit. Katsumata asked, he does not plan to steal Alec's sword, does he? MC thought this was certainly a good option, but it was not necessary. Suddenly, a huge sword flew through the window, which scared the guys. Katsumata saw an archer near the knowledge who shot a sword and even got it. MC asked, Is it funny, isn't it? He grabbed the sword and was glad that it came back, and since it came back, it seems that Minhun is fine. According to MC, they have a sword that can cut that scale. They will leave as soon as Katsumata, the leader of the interweaving, is ready. But Katsumata was always ready. Suddenly, arrows pierced the facade of the house, and MC asked, will they test the power of this? According to Katsumata, he does not need such primitive tools. He rushed forward and asked to take care of Lady Erika. All team members accepted his order, and Katsumata quickly moved forward, running along the rope. MC thinks that Katsumata really deserves the title of Sparrow Wings. Suddenly Katsumata stopped and swung his swords, stabbing them into the monster's skin. He turned around and saw MC slashing with his rare sword. The creature's skin was more slippery than Katsumata expected. It would be difficult to hold on. They needed to deal with the creature quickly. Katsumata asked to quickly get under the creature's jaw. MC thought that rushing would only do harm. First, they needed to anger the creature. Katsumata didn't understand what MC meant. MC pierced the monster's body, causing the body to rapidly tremble. Katsumata tried to hold on to the creature's body and didn't understand. Was MC crazy? What was he doing? According to MC, small sacrifices are necessary for the greater good. He pierced the monster's body again. Let it eat them, rather than swallow 5 oceans. Katsumata let go of his swords and flew into the monster's mouth. He started to slip and couldn't take it anymore. He wrapped the rope around the creature's tooth and hung on to its throat. He called out to MC, who said he was good. Katsumata asked him to hurry up and pull him out before the creature closed its mouth. MC agreed that they had to hurry before it closed it. Suddenly, MC rushed into the monster's throat and cut the rope, rushing forward. At this point, Alec and his team were fighting the monsters that had fallen out of the gate. Johanna didn't understand. Is there really nothing more they could do? They were constantly cutting down the monsters, but their numbers weren't decreasing. Hansen kept mixing up the 2 languages, which sounded unintelligible and very funny. According to him, the monsters were on a completely different level. These things would never die. Alex struck with his sword, throwing parts of the monsters a long way away and then ordered them to run. The guys rushed to run away, and Myung-hoon, noticing this, said that he thought Alec had long since left, but he was still here. It was a bit of a stalemate. According to MC, Alec at least cleared the way, so it was easier for them, and a prophet is a prophet. Hojin looked around and realized that they had chopped up the lizards perfectly. Alec must have been out of breath and decided to break through to escape, but killing monsters along the way. According to Myung-hoon, he handed over the sword to Tanyan Kyung-in. If they ran into Alec, they would die. Myung-hoon turned around and asked, Hojin, is he feeling okay? According to him, they should move as stealthily as possible. According to Hojin, he had rested a bit, and in principle, he could go. There were a whole bunch of lizards there, and Kyung-in and Jung Tae-ho were able to get away from there, right? Myung-hoon hopes that the boys have left, since there weren't that many of them at that time. Nam-gung would have let them if something had gone wrong. The plan was for Kyung-in to hand over the sword, and they would walk through the cleared area. Then they would meet near the Ruru Tower. They would probably already be there. Myung-hoon suggested looking for them. Suddenly, Hojin thought that Alec was moving towards the tower. He couldn't know where Kyung-in was, right? At that time, Alec and his team were fighting the monsters. Johanna turned around and asked, Hansen, where's the car? According to Hansen, there are a lot of lizards in the 63rd block, so he called a car to the Ruru Tower. They only need to go 1 block along the road. Myung-hoon wondered, what if we warn Kyung-in? According to Hojin, the main station seemed to be out of order, and communication was not working, so they needed to prepare a satellite phone. Myung-hoon didn't like the information, but he decided to find them himself. They needed to find the guys before Alec. He would probably try to kill the guys if he stumbled upon them. Suddenly, Hojin screamed, and the monsters rushed towards them. Myung-hoon took out his sword and froze the creatures, and then sighed because he was too young to die. The lizard was able to move inside the ice block and break it when suddenly an arrow flew into his head. Kyung-in stood on the bridge, wondering if the guys were okay, and they were happy to see him. After a while, people ran in different directions, begging for help, when the monsters got out of the water. Suddenly, arrows began to fly into the heads of these creatures, and Somin stood on the bridge, who activated her electrical energy. She directed lightning towards the water and killed the monsters, whose blood poured out like rain. The old man said that the world had changed a lot while he was in a coma, and Somin's magical abilities amazed him every time. Somin said that it was just a skill. He could kill a lizard man in 1 shot too. Taeho agreed with her and thanked the bow from Yaksha's shop. He asked if she was worried about Namgung's dad. Sungmin wasn't worried about him at all, since her dad was a regressor, so there was nothing to worry about. She was more worried about Kyung-in and Mr. Myung-hoon, since they had already met. At that time, Myung-hoon was wondering where Kyung-in was from. Kyung-in said that their injuries looked bad, so he came to help. Myung-hoon thanked him, but they are strong, so it is okay. Hojin asked, what happened to Jung Taeho? According to Kyunyeon, his father went to help Somin. She is alone at the Han River Park and does not allow the lizards to come to the shore. It would be difficult for Kyung-in to descend from such a height, so he suggested meeting at the Olympic Bridge crossroads, a 10-minute walk away. Suddenly Alex said not to rush, he would personally lower him down. The guys were surprised. When did he manage to return? Alex swung his sword and destroyed the bridge on which Kyung-in stood. Hojin was scared and realized what an idiot Alec was. In the 63rd quarter he was not so strong. Had he really improved in such a short period of time? Alec asked, was it he who shot at them? The four-eyed one? He only knows how to shoot, and Kyung-in clearly lacks physical strength. Kyung-in hung on the edge of the bridge and asked for help, and Myung-hoon asked Alec to stop. Hojin rushed towards the bridge and ordered Kyung-in to hold on. He would save him. Alec was so furious that he did nothing to them then, and now they wandered straight into the lion's mouth. He called out to Johanna and Hansen and asked them irritably what they were standing there for. Johanna pointed to the side and told Alec to look at the huge monster, and Hansen said that it was coming to the surface. The huge monster slapped its tail against the house, and that was when Myung-hoon realized that he had to get out. The monster was moving towards them, and at that time, Hojin had already lowered Kyung-in and asked if everything was okay. He called out to Myung-hoon and asked where he was. Alec covered his face with his hand and wondered where those idiots were. Suddenly, he saw a strange burning scale on the monster's throat, and remembered that the witness of the sun and moon once mentioned that the only thing that can destroy the unusual scale is a weapon of rare rank or higher. The witness gave him this weapon for this moment? Alec decided that he was definitely the chosen one. He touched the monster with his hand and called out to Choi Myung-hoon. He feels like even he and Erica couldn't foresee this future, a future where he and only he would get the world boss reward. It's not that they couldn't foresee it, it's that such a future doesn't exist. Suddenly, the monster's body started glowing, surprising Alec, and then, the monster's body exploded and the world boss was defeated. MC appeared in front of Alec, and his comrades were happy to see him. Myung-hoon looked at him with tears in his eyes, and Alec couldn't believe it. This sword. Alec was unhappy that MC was behind Choi Myung-hoon. MC ordered him to stop yelling. According to MC, because Alec killed all those lizard men, Korea is safe again. He thanked Alec for participating. Without him, he wouldn't have been able to lure the snake here. The system window announced that all participants within a 50-meter radius would receive a reward. MC received a snake scale that can be exchanged for heads, and the winners of the awards can exchange with each other. The price is 2,000 heads. Alec was very angry when he saw this and asked, MC wants to say that he played by his rules all this time, he, the mighty Alec? The system window reported that the player who killed the magical creature will receive a special reward. MC opened the box, which contained an excellent snake scale, which can be obtained in a single copy. Alec displeasedly ordered his assistants to take it from him, after which Johanna and Hansen rushed to him. At this moment, Kyonin fired arrows towards the guys, who began to fight back on their own. According to Katsumata, the strategy of breaking through the entrails and exiting through an unusual scale, MC is good, and he was right about the snake being a big enemy, but not that strong. It seems that truly strong enemies are already waiting for them. Alex started laughing loudly, which attracted the attention of everyone around him and caused confusion. He didn't understand why so many people didn't know their place. According to him, there can only be one chosen one. Everyone was unhappy with his words, even his assistants. Alex swung his sword and ordered to die. Suddenly, Somin appeared above them, asking, "Is this the prophet they showed on TV?" Alec was surprised. "Is this magic? Was there a prophet in Korea with magical powers? And can she also use such power at an early stage?" According to Katsumata, their British friends are heading home. They will clear the way for them. The guys rushed towards Alec's team and pointed their weapons at them. They were scared, but as it turned out, the guys really decided to help them and killed the monster standing behind them. Alec didn't even feel the snakemen because he was too focused on these idiots. He, of all people. MC ordered them to go to Songnam City. Incheon Airport should be closed yet, but Seoul Airport should be fine. They will take them out as soon as they say Kang Ho-jun's name. Alec agreed to this, and there were already reporters on the horizon. He would only lose his reputation if he started a fight here. It seems like he has no choice but to retreat. Otherwise, he will disappoint the fans. MC was happy about their retreat, and Somin was just in time. They could cause much more trouble than that snake. Taeho found it strange to hear this from the monster slayer, Namgung. According to MC, monsters are easy to deal with, but there is little that can help against these guys, and besides, they will continue to get stronger. Taeho wondered, if they are so dangerous, then was it worth giving them 2,000 heads at all? In his opinion, there was no need to offer them a reward. MC is sure that they wouldn't have retreated if they hadn't been given something significant. Besides, Alec would have profited from the dungeon that would soon appear in England anyway, so a couple of tens of thousands of votes wouldn't make a difference. The main thing is that they eventually became the ones who defeated the boss. Erica suddenly said that it was time for them to leave too, but next time they would be the ones who defeated the world boss. MC would wait for this, and Hojin asked if they were returning to Japan. If so, he would contact the airport. Erica didn't accept help. They could handle it themselves. After all, they were only here to pick up Igor. According to MC, world leaders are really on the level. Minhoon was surprised. Did the Ninagawa family really have the ability to call a plane from another country? MC answered affirmatively. They would continue to watch them, and more closely than simple celebrities like Alec. But they have something that they don't have. MC took out a bag of stones and opened it. They were able to get it thanks to Kyungin. The system window reported that the low-level rune increases agility, strength, and endurance. Taeho grabbed the stones and began to examine them, and MC thought, although his weapon is so-so with so many runes, Mr. Jung Taeho should be able to handle it. Using 4 runes at once in this situation may be wasteful, but the longer Mr. Jung Taeho lives, the more runes they will get. Taeho thanked MC. He began to feel very cool. According to MC, Taeho is the best of their national team. He is always happy to help him. He asked the guys to listen. If they think that they need some rune, then they should not hesitate to use them. The guys agreed with him, and MC offered to take care of the remaining monsters. He wants to show what he can do. After a while, the system window announced that the second carnival had come to an end, and all the survivors had been given a reward. 1,000 heads were awarded to everyone. The boys were happy that they could do it, and it was finally over. Myung-hoon asked MC, it was easier to fight this time, right? At this rate, they would quickly end everything. MC told him not to rejoice too soon. In the future they would face much stronger creatures. They also needed to act according to the plan. According to Myung-hoon, MC never disappoints. Smoke suddenly appeared, which surprised the boys, because the gates of hell were already closed. Somin pointed her hand towards the burning National Assembly building. The screen in the center of the city showed an emergency message, which said that the city was engulfed in chaos due to massive destruction. They said that the National Assembly building was damaged. Yes, it is true. A meeting was being held in the National Assembly building regarding the elimination of the consequences of the emergency when suddenly it was attacked by creatures unknown to science. The host was interested in whether there were any casualties among those who were in the building at that time. At this time, Seok said that the president was dying. What a nightmare they got into. The girl said that the ministers of economy and finance, the minister of education, and even the minister of foreign affairs were missing. According to Juk, they need to adhere to the policy developed for such an eventuality. Park Dae-ho was standing by the wall, addressing Prime Minister Seo Juk. According to him, this incident is indeed a great tragedy, but compared to other countries, they held back the onslaught well, so he does not think they need to. Before he could finish speaking, Juk asked with displeasure, how could Minister Park Dae-ho say such a thing? He opened the doors and ordered his assistant to bring him the leader of that group, the one who can manage the advanced team for resolving conflicts with the monsters, the one named Namgu. After a while, MC was sitting in the forest when Myung-hoon suddenly came up to him and asked if he was still here, polishing his hardware even in this situation? MC didn't answer him, and Myung-hoon began to think that MC was probably confused by the sudden presidential election, but at least the Prime Minister survived. He was talking about Seo Jae-wook, their old friend. As long as he continues to act as the acting president, Korea is safe. MC agreed with him. Prime Minister Seo Jae-wook can be trusted to govern, but there is one problem. In his past life, he tried to create an army of monsters, but in the end, it didn't work out due to unforeseen circumstances, namely, because of the head of the Ministry of Defense, Park Dae-ho, who carried out a coup d'etat. Myung-hoon was seriously scared and asked, is it true? According to MC, in his past life, Park Dae-ho seized power and declared martial law, but he made a mistake by concentrating all the soldiers in Seoul. This caused all the other cities to burn. Myung-hoon couldn't believe it, but if MC knew about the explosion in the parliament in advance, wouldn't it be better to go there personally to protect the president? MC told him no, because the place where the snake boss appeared was too far away, and if MC didn't eliminate the snake, the consequences could be much more serious. Myung-hoon agreed with him. Then Alec would also become famous. Suddenly, counterterrorism officers appeared in front of them and asked MC to come with them. MC thinks that they should introduce themselves first. Lee Jin-won apologized for being rude and introduced himself. He is an officer of the counterterrorism department in NAR. His name is Lee Jin-won. They are here on behalf of the GD to pick up MC. Myung-hoon thought about the abbreviation of the GD, after which the officers told him that this is the Blue House of Cheongwade. After some time, MC was sitting in the office, and Prime Minister So Jae-ok was apologizing for such a sudden call. MC told him that everything was fine. Jae-ok asked, was it MC who destroyed the monster that appeared on the Han River? He asked to accept his gratitude. MC thinks that he should be the one thanking him for being called to an audience in the Blue House and not in Nar's interrogation room. According to Jae-ok, it would be extremely impolite to treat the hero who saved the capital like that. MC was surprised that Jae-ok was not at all wary, sitting in front of the one who easily dealt with the monster. Now it became clear to him why he died so easily, letting Park Dae-ho fool him, but anyway, he needed the Prime Minister alive in this life. MC put the mug on the table and said that if the Prime Minister continued to trust people so easily, he might lose his life one day. He swung his sword, causing a frightened Jaek to fall off his chair. The guards ordered him to drop his weapon quickly, otherwise MC would be shot. According to MC, Jaek is currently in a position that affects the fate of an entire country. How can you trust your life to such scum without taking into account what is happening or even the information provided by the Yakshi? The guards continued to order him to lower his weapon, otherwise they will shoot. MC advised him to be careful not only of monsters, but also of people. He cannot die yet. The Prime Minister looked at him in fear. He will remember everything. Suddenly, a blade controlled by Hyoju was aimed at MC's head. She ordered MC to immediately lay down his weapon. According to MC, for a mere mortal, she quickly awakened her abilities. He cut the blade with his sword and turned towards Hyoju. She pointed blades towards him, which were instantly cut. MC rushed towards Hyoju when suddenly the Prime Minister ordered her to stop bothering their guest. MC was surprised, putting the tip of his sword to Hyoju's neck. According to Jeju, the captain only shared one true truth with them. He did not intend to harm him. He was planning to organize a team to catch monsters, and he really wanted MC to be the leader of it. MC remained silent in response, and Hyoju did not want to admit it, but they were really bad at managing data so far, and the surveillance footage showed that MC's team was already quite skilled in using weapons and equipment. She asked if he could help them. MC refused this offer, which surprised Jeju and Hyoju. They could not believe that he said that. MC did not intend to teach them anything and take responsibility for the team. Hyoju did not understand, but he had already sacrificed himself for the good of the country. Moreover, he is a citizen of this country. Why did he answer no? According to MC, it became clear that he would fight for the good of this country, which is why he lent this power, but his duty is to protect Korea, not its government. MC asked to ask Park Hyoju a question. What is she fighting for the country or for the government? Or maybe for her father, the head of the Ministry of Defense, Park Dae-ho. Hyoju was surprised. How does he know her father? According to MC, Dae-ho is currently preparing a coup d'etat. Hyoju got angry and asked, what kind of nonsense is this? Why this slander? MC answered that it is not nonsense. Has she forgotten where he is from? According to Hyoju, from the Squad 711, it disbanded, but before it was considered the best in all of South Korea. Not only for its combat performance, but also for its special awareness, and MC was the leader of the Squad 711. MC agreed with her and clarified. Now his words sound more convincing? Jae-wook asked if he was serious. According to him, in that case, MC should even more quickly take charge of the anti-monster team in order to ensure the safety of the country. MC saw no real reason or need to do so. Even if everything in South Korea becomes stable, Park Dae-ho will not change his plan. It does not matter to him whether the country is in chaos or not. He's going to carry out a coup solely with his own forces, pure weapons. The Prime Minister became angry upon hearing this information. MC knows that in his past life, Park Dae-ho was so strong that he even possessed a rare class weapon. For an ordinary civilian, his combat power was far above average. According to MC, that is why now they do not need to blame the monsters on him and observe the situation from the sidelines, but rather become stronger themselves, strengthen their positions. Only this will help get rid of the mess in the country. Hyoju frowned. According to her, even the National Intelligence Agency does not have information regarding the possibility of a coup. Where is the guarantee that he didn't make all this up? Jae-wook leaned on the table and agreed with her. She was right, there was no evidence, but his words about the need to become stronger were reasonable. No matter how professional he was in politics, there was always a chance of losing to a stronger person, and now it was more relevant than ever. MC turned to Park Hyoju and asked what she decided, on whose side she would fight. Hyoju remained silent, and MC knew what he was talking about, since the video outcome was in a past life, but from Hyoju's point of view, his words seemed like nonsense that was difficult to accept. However, he was sure that her answer would remain the same, unless, of course, nothing had changed in her since her past life, which was unlikely. Hyoju was about to answer when suddenly Jinwon interrupted her. He found the conversation very interesting. However, he was not sure that he should say such things in front of the Prime Minister. According to him, MC's statements are not supported by anything. In his opinion, something should be done only after they and R conduct an investigation. Jae-wook agreed with him and suggested continuing the discussion of this issue next time. After some time, Hyoju decided to accompany MC home, in response to which he only remained silent and stopped. Hyoju called out to him and asked for advice on how to best deal with an enemy that is too tough for her. MC turned around and realized that she knew about Park Dae-ho's secret motives. According to him, such enemies do not exist. If she cannot win now, then she should start building up her strength. Hyoju, however, believes that this cannot be solved by the efforts of just one person. According to MC, this is true, but if their world were ordinary. Hyoju was surprised by his words and asked again, and MC gave her advice that if she wants to become stronger, then she should come to the Mahjong Ryok tomorrow evening. Hyoju was wondering why there all of a sudden. MC said that the best swordsman in Seoul is not NIS or even special forces. It is clear that you need to learn from the strongest. After some time, workers were laying out meat products at the market. They needed to empty one freezer and put the pieces of meat, but all the refrigerators were already filled to the brim. MC and Hyoju came to a market that Hyoju did not know about. She asked if monsters were not eliminated after they died. According to MC, these are still alive. Hyoju was surprised. How could this be? From MC's words, it became clear that they were simply frozen alive in order to eat them later. Just the thought confused Hyoju, when suddenly MC reported what he found. Gilsoo bit off a piece of meat and asked, "Are they visitors? If they are for meat, then this is not the place for them. The farms that supplied here went bankrupt. Trade was closed." MC did not agree with him. He was sure that they came to the right place. Gilsoo was surprised by his words, and MC asked, "Isn't this lizardman meat?" Hyoju was about to feel sick when she heard this. Gilsoo said irritably that it wasn't for sale. He told MC to get out of here. He wouldn't eat it anyway. Hyoju asked, "Is this really the best swordsman MC was talking about yesterday? He's not good enough to teach her anything good." MC said she just needs to show him what she can do. He snatched a piece of meat from Gilsoo, making him even more angry. MC threw the meat on the board, cut up the ingredients, and started cooking. He dripped some of the remedy into it, and then said that no matter how talented someone is, there's a limit to the body's abilities. Quality is often more important than quantity, right? Majan District Livestock Union Chairman, Jang Gilsoo, or the King of Gluttony? Gilsoo reached out for the food and was very surprised. He decided to find out who MC was. Knowing that monster flesh evaporates when heated, he cooked shabu shabu, which is the best way to preserve the original appearance of meat. Gilsoo was very impressed and decided to find out if he really knew that much about monster cooking. According to MC, he did. He was sick to his stomach. Haiju was very surprised by this answer, and Gilsoo did not expect that someone else would eat this tasteless crap. According to Gilsoo, it's okay that he eats it by force because of his predisposition to gluttony. But why did MC do it? Was it for the same reason? MC did not agree with him. In his opinion, it was just delicious. Gilsoo thanked him for the dinner, but if MC came to joke around, then he should get lost. What kind of idiot liked monster meat anyway? It's like chewing rubber. MC asked Gilsoo to just try his dish. Gilsoo looked at the food with displeasure, then took a piece of meat and dipped it in the sauce, tried it, and froze in pleasure. He slammed his hands on the table and shouted that this meat would wipe the nose of any beef. How did he cook it? He tried a lot of recipes, but each time it was a nightmare. MC handed over a jam made from magic-grade Krusan West Coast salt, and said that this was all because Gilsoo was trying to cook according to human recipes. Gilsoo looked at the jam in surprise, the cost of which reached 100,000. According to him, the seasoning was really something. MC decided to give it away for free if Gilsoo would honor two of his requests. The first was to share the technique of cutting up monsters. Hyoju didn't understand. Hadn't she come to study sword techniques? Gilsoo wondered if MC was also involved in slaughtering. This knowledge was useless, too modest for such a seasoning. Why did he need it? According to MC, it's not useless. Thanks to his research, he can find out the weaknesses of monsters, right? Gilsoo doesn't consider them weaknesses directly. He just studies how the body of these idiots works when cutting them up. MC thinks that the seasoning is a pretty good price for this information. According to Hyoju, after the gate is closed, the same monsters will not appear again. What's the point of learning how to cut their meat? According to MC, the gate has only opened twice, so how would she know? By the way, they are not finished with the lizards yet either. He wondered if she forgot about the time of troubles. Gilsoo decided to share, since MC asked. But it seems that he is not one of the simple guys either, since he has 10,000 heads for some seasonings. Why does he even need to know the weaknesses of monsters? According to MC, he does not need it, but he will need to teach this lady next to him. She should understand how to deliver effective blows, spending a minimum of effort. Hyoju's telepathy is sharp, but her attack power is weak. so it's better to learn to hit vulnerable spots right away rather than trying to develop strength. She didn't expect MC to calculate everything so carefully. According to MC, 3 days would be enough, since after that, there would be a time of troubles. Gilsu laughed and said, 3 days, so 3 days. As soon as MC decided to tell his second request, everything around him started shaking. A cave suddenly appeared in front of the entrance, the steps of which led down. Gilsu wondered what was going on there. According to MC, his second request was to serve beef instead of lizards, and preferably minotaurs. After a while, Somin was happy to see Myunhoon. He asked if she was awake. He came back from the supermarket. They were giving out free rations. She had better go with Kyung-in before everything was taken, and he would cook breakfast in the meantime. Somin had little faith in Myunghoon's cooking skills. She was wondering where her father was. According to Myunghoon, he had gone on a raid. Somin didn't understand, but the main reward in the dungeons was calculated based on the number of raiders. Wouldn't it be better to act together then? Myunghoon agreed with her. He thought so too, but MC said that this time there were restrictions. Somin didn't even know about such dungeons. She wondered why she would do that, because of the difficulty level. At that moment, MC said, for the sake of sacrifice, of course. They were not going there as raiders, but as sacrifices. With these words, MC greatly worried the guys. According to him, they probably heard about where the king of ancient Crete, named Minos, imprisoned a half-man, half-bull. He is talking about the labyrinth of the Minotaur. Hyoju understood. He means the legend, according to which every year 7 young people must be sacrificed to appease the wrath of the monster. MC praised her. She understood correctly, but their case is slightly different. Only 3 people can enter the labyrinth. The guide and the girl with the guy who will be sacrificed. Such a composition is mandatory. With his words, he scared Gilsa and Hyoju even more, but the next 3 people can only get here after the death of the previous daredevils. There will be a total of 7 attempts. The guys were interested in what will happen after failure. According to MC, the gate will open and the Minotaur will come out, having eaten his fill of human flesh. Hyoju was sure that this cannot be allowed, and MC assured her that everything will be fine. There is no need to even worry. According to Hyoju, everything will be fine with MC, and maybe with her too, but this man, he is a simple civilian. He is unlikely to have experience in cutting up minotaurs, so it will not be possible to find the monster quickly. MC agrees with her. He lacks experience in cutting up minotaurs. However, he is a South Korean master at catching horned cattle. Gilsu laughed. In his opinion, MC is very convincing. That's right, as long as this minotaur has horns, he will quickly take him. MC understood that no one else would be suitable for this role, because in his past life, he was the one who successfully raided the minotaur's dungeon. MC said that as soon as they enter, they will immediately split up. Gilsu asked, everyone on their own? He understood. MC decided to give one hint, but he is not sure if it will help. If they start to doubt, then they need to go to the right. MC opened the gate, and the system window reported an invasion of the Minotaur's dungeon. MC looked around, and the system window reported that they had become victims. They needed to overcome the labyrinth and ascend the altar. MC stood in the center of the huge labyrinth and looked around. According to MC, apparently, they meant them by victims. The good thing is that thanks to this window, you can find out about the state of the others. MC went forward and stepped into the water. But he could not understand where the water was coming from in such a scorching sun. He dipped his hand into the water and activated his mana. The system window reported that this was a magical top-class water serpent jewel, a bracelet with a shard of a water serpent. This allows you to control fish. The number of controlled fish depends on the user's spiritual power. He activated the power of the fish and began to navigate in space with their help, trying to build a route. He thought that the techniques from his past life work here too. The reward for defeating the boss is very useful, but it is clear that he is hunting them for more than just that. In his past life, it did not work out, but this time everything should work out. Suddenly, MC felt negative energy behind him and turned around. He saw that the fish died in the same place. Obviously, that is where the master of the labyrinth is. According to MC, the direction seems to be correct, but it seems like he keeps walking in circles. Maybe the labyrinth is not that simple? Suddenly, Hyoju appeared behind him, calling for help. MC called out to her, and she said that the monsters killed her entire squad. MC could not understand what squad. The 3 of them came here. It is time to wake up. Hyoju asked the 3 of them, did he not understand her? She said that the squad is dead. Her face instantly changed, taking on a scary look. Hyoju told him not to act like an idiot. After all, he was the one who sent them to certain death. He gave the order, told them to protect the tunnel, and asked them to buy time, and he himself went to fight the demons. He sacrificed their entire squad to collect the demon heads and escape to the past. MC hit her and told her to stop talking nonsense. Hyejin asked, does he think he really returned to the past? Is it true that the last demon he fought died? Did he really not even think about the fact that he was deceived, plunging into eternal sleep? MC could not understand after these words. Is this really an illusion or not? Hyoju turned into a huge monster and said that he did not collect all 666,666 heads. Returning to the past is just an illusion that he created. In reality, MC is rotting in hell, along with everyone abandoned by the squad. The dead began to appear from under the ground, who trusted MC and did not understand why he sent them there. The demon grabbed MC by the head and said, "This is reality. From the very beginning, there was no return to the past." MC asked irritably. "Reality," he said. He suggested finishing him off first. He would gladly tear all the demons that were left to pieces. MC struck the demon, breaking his skull, and asked, he said, he sent people to certain death, and he himself returned to the past? And now these people hate him? Even if so, MC does not regret his decision at all. The demon began to cough and spread light from his eyes, and then blew up. After a while, MC realized that this labyrinth can fool your head. Be that as it may, the right answer seemed to have been found. He approached the gate and wondered how Chang Gilsu got through this labyrinth in his past life. He is quite a glutton, because of which, most likely, he is weakly resistant to mental attacks. Suddenly, Gilsu appeared behind him, who broke through the wall with his shoulder. According to him, he almost died there. MC looked at him puzzled, and Gilsu thought that he was the first. MC asked, "Does he always walk straight through walls?" According to Gilsu, he got tired of turning, so he decided to always go straight. The boss is usually either in the center or at the very end. MC realized that such an approach had not even occurred to him. It turns out that he still has a lot to learn. At that moment, Hyoju came out to them and asked what kind of place this was. She almost went crazy because of hallucinations. MC praised her, and she said that Captain Nam's advice helped her a little. Hyoju clarified, did she mean always go to the right? Hyoju said that in one of the visions, her subordinate appeared. On one of the missions, he lost his leg. She remembers that his left leg was cut off, but in the vision, there was no right one. And Gilsu stupidly knocked down walls on the right side. This surprised Hyoju, and MC was sure that it was too early to rejoice. They still had to deal with the animal. MC started to climb the stairs, and the system window reported the start of the sacrifice process. He opened the doors, and the guys went up to the altar, where the master of the labyrinth appeared in front of them. The huge minotaur broke the chains and inhaled air with his huge nostrils. MC said that he was coming. The huge creature began to scream loudly, trying to scare the guys. Gilsu was surprised by the upright bull, and Hyoju was interested in what they were going to do. The huge bull rushed towards them, after which a loud and frightened cry was heard. Hyoju rushed to the side, when suddenly MC stopped her and asked her to wait. Gilsu understood everything and took out a knife from his pocket. He rushed forward and collided with the bull, starting to strike at the body. He pierced the body of the creature over and over again, causing it to scream loudly. The bull fell to his knees, and Hyoju asked in surprise, "Wow, he's a clever guy? Is he really just a butcher?" According to MC, he's the king of gluttony. Gilsu bit the creature and pulled out some of the tendons from its neck, and then wiped his mouth and said that it was rare slop. But he sees that there is still some use in the creature's meat. Gilsu wondered if he could kill the creature alone, and they could split the reward between themselves. According to MC, the law of the jungle, it was his ability that activated. When hunting monsters, the butcher's strength increases, while the monster's strength decreases, as they instinctively feel fear of him. The Minotaur is an ideal opponent for him, but if he lets down his guard. Gilsu laughed loudly, striking the creature. He wondered why the bull was so big, but was afraid. His comrades still scared him. He even thought that there was something serious here. Hyoju thinks that it was not in vain that they were looking for this person. He is simply incredible. MC agreed with her. He is strong in this matter, but her strength is much stronger. Hyoju asked, "Is it true?" According to MC, with the help of telepathy, one can control the mind. In other words, he can transfer the fight beyond physical capabilities. Such power is almost limitless. MC instructed Hyoju to take lessons from Jang Gilsu not only to find out his weaknesses, just the distribution of forces used when cutting meat. He wants her to see how Jang Gilsu uses and transforms his power. If she masters his technique, she will be able to create a new weapon that combines telekinesis with close and long-range skills. Hyoju wondered how Captain Nam knew all this. Even though he used to lead the 711 squad, she does not think that helped him come to such conclusions. MC was about to answer when suddenly the bull threw Gilsu into the wall. Hyoju could not understand this because Gilsu had the advantage. According to MC, this is Frenzy, an ability that, by gathering all his physical strength, can heal wounds and completely nullify the law of the jungle. Jang Gilsu must have immediately recognized the Minotaur's abilities, since he used the gluttony skill, but he overestimated his strength. Hyeju rushed forward. She decided that she needed to help him. Gilsu stood up. He was not dead yet. No need to interfere. He would figure it out himself. The bull rushed towards Gilsu again, biting the knife with his teeth. Gilsu grabbed the bull by the horns and pulled it towards himself, when suddenly he jumped up and then turned around and said that he could not leave with his strength alone. Suddenly, the bull tied him by the leg with a rope and slammed him against the wall. Hyeju was afraid that at this rate he would definitely die. MC thinks that perhaps he should not blindly rely on the past. Even if in that life, Jang Gilsu managed to clear the dungeon, this time, everything could turn out differently. Perhaps he won then, thanks to someone's help. Jang Gilsu has an iron stubbornness. If they rush to help him, it could ruin their relationship, and he is an obligatory figure in his plan. If she can't get him on her side, the rest won't work either. Hyeju rushed forward and decided to help Gilsu. MC was behind her. MC ordered her to stop. It was too early. Hyeju was surprised by his words, and MC knew that Jang Gilsu's fighting spirit was not broken yet. Gilsu agreed with his words. His knife was not broken either. Suddenly, a horn burst into his body, which shocked not only Hyeju, but also MC. Gilsu grabbed it and tried to tear it out of his body. The fat on his belly helped him avoid a fatal wound, but at this rate, he was not going to survive. At this moment, he decided to ask for help, but the bull was not going to give up. At this moment, MC rushed forward and cut off the monster's horns, after which Gilsu fell to the ground and pulled out the horn. MC apologized if he interfered in vain. He could not resist. According to Gilsu, of course, it was not worth helping, but at least now it will be easier. In such a situation, it is difficult to stand still. MC is glad that he is useful. He believes that Jang Gilsu is still a simpleton. He will not follow someone because of money or power. Such people are driven by good deeds. Gilsu scratched his nose and said that he owed him. MC asked him not to worry. They will pay later. The main thing now is the dungeon reward. Suddenly, spirits appeared in the hall, which began to strike the monster. Gilsu could not understand what kind of ghouls these were, and MC also called his ability a cheat. You should see his own. Suddenly, the Minotaur summoned a weapon, which greatly surprised MC, who continued to strike. Suddenly, the monster struck back and MC made a reverse summoning. He squeezed an excellent snake scale of the magic class in his hand. Part of the snake's scales allows the user to blend into the environment by reflecting and refracting light, but this can only be used once per day. MC covered himself in mana, then disappeared and approached the monster, swinging his sword, when suddenly the creature turned around, which could not help but surprise. The monster struck MC and threw him back. Hyeju did not understand how the Minotaur could still see the captain. The Minotaur threw his axe towards the spirits, and MC wondered how he could aim so clearly for the umpteenth time. The bull ran towards MC when suddenly a flask of jam crashed into his head, causing the monster to stagger violently. MC did not understand at first, and then Gilsu screamed that the Minotaur was finding him by smell. MC quickly moved behind the Minotaur and then struck him in the head. He ordered to cut his tendons and Hyeju activated her magic. She launched the blades towards the monster, and MC continued to strike at different parts of the body. Hyeju tried her best to cope with the monster, cutting tendons. She wondered that such a blade could not overcome its flesh. This is enough. He raised the sword like a kebab and pierced the throat further. Suddenly, the bull's tail wrapped around MC's leg, after which the guys called out to him. The Minotaur rose and summoned his axe, which Hyeju wrapped with her lines. She could not stand it for a long time and coughed up blood, but when she opened her eyes, she saw that MC had cut the monster with a sword. It fell to the floor, splitting into two parts and flooding everything with blood. The system window reported that the Lord of the Labyrinth was defeated. The guys shouted joyfully, and they were given chests with the main and additional rewards. 2 trophies were received. The trophy is awarded to only one member of the group. Gilsu encouraged Hyeju. He could see how hard it was for her, although she rushed into battle headlong. One way or another, without her help, everything could have ended completely differently. MC completely agreed with his words, but Hyeju considered it a trifle, because she just did as she was told. Gilsu thinks that this is help, of course. Namgung helped him avoid the fate of the donut, but she stopped the axe. In fact, that is why they were able to kill the monster and get the reward. No one else could have handled such a task. Hyeju was embarrassed, because she thought they were praising her. Gilsu offered to look at the reward and open the chest, which contained the white bowl of King Minos and the red bowl of King Minos. The boys were happy with them, and MC opened his chest where there was a magic class Minotaur liver, which, when consumed, grants the user one of the monster's features. It is necessary to have an extremely strong appetite. In case of undereating or spitting out the remains, the liver loses its freshness, which leads to the loss of the effect. Hyeju squeezed her nose and clarified, "Is this really a reward?" Gilsu wondered if this was some kind of mistake. According to MC, everything is exactly as it should be. He is giving this to Gilsu as gratitude for the battle with the Minotaur. Gilsu was unhappy with such a gift, and asked not to say that he should eat this horror. Although he has a predisposition to gluttony, MC did not even listen to him and stuffed the liver into Gilsu's mouth. The liver will melt in your mouth itself. You don't have to try to chew it. Gilsu was surprised by MC's strength and swallowed the liver with tears in his eyes. He couldn't understand what MC was doing because he could smell rotten meat with every breath. Gilsu looked at the system window, which reported that he had absorbed the Minotaur's liver and gained the ability to regenerate. Hyoju was surprised at how quickly the wound on Gilsu's stomach healed, who believes that it is not for nothing that they say that everything that tastes bad is healthy. MC opened another box, which contained an excerpt from Gym War, a teleportation of an unknown class, a fragment of a magic book that transported the chosen ones to a special location. Hyoju asked what it was. MC himself didn't know what it was, because the item had no number. He had never seen anything like it in his past life. Gilsu thought that something useful would fall out, but in reality it was just a piece of paper. It seemed to him that the liver was still okay, although it tasted absolutely awful, of course. MC asked what to do. It would most likely be impossible to swallow it without the gluttony skill anyway. Gilsu asked, "Does he think so?" Hyoju asked, "Is it just a tattered piece of paper? Is it really not a trap?" She found it very suspicious. MC decided to keep it for now. Gilsu suggested that they should get out of here already, if that was all. According to Hyoju, they did a great job. MC was not happy with the reward he received this time. Unlike the Ghoul King's grave, it was not much at all. A piece of paper? Seriously? He frowned and saw the system window that the Minotaur's soul had been detected. MC wanted to subjugate the soul? MC didn't understand what this meant when Hyoju suddenly warned him of danger from behind. Gilsu couldn't understand. Was this not the end yet? The Minotaur's soul rose and headed towards MC. It seems that the necromancer is only able to subjugate the human soul. The system window reported that the skill Soul Taming Level 2 is available, and the number of souls has exceeded the maximum. MC can no longer subjugate anyone. If he wants to get their soul, he will have to give up one of the ones he already has. The soul of the dungeon boss is certainly a useful thing, but why would the one he killed follow him? He asked what the purpose of this is. Is it clinging to him in the hopes of continuing to exist? The soul has transformed into a human. It wants to leave this place. Gilsu was surprised that he was a human. Hyoju said that it was a Asterion, a minotaur half-human and half-bull. The name of his human part, Asterion. MC was surprised. She is well versed in mythology, although you can't tell by Hyoju, but at one time she was interested in it for a long time. He asked Asterion what he would get in return if he helped him get out of here. Asterion is ready for anything. In order to make a contract with him, MC must destroy one of the souls that fight for him. Is it worth the risk? Asterion believes that there is no need, especially since he himself does not want to kill anyone. He stretched out his hand and illuminated MC with a bright light. The system window reported the availability of the second-level skill. The essence of the Minotaur penetrated MC's body. The absorption of the heroic soul occurred. Due to contact with the supreme essence, the number of available souls increases. The souls available for taming increased from 3 to 4. The absorption of the subdued soul was completed, and MC was transformed. The spirit of the night now follows him. MC read the system notification that his warriors were getting stronger and was surprised. Ghosts in knightly armor appeared behind him, and the strengthening process was complete. The spirits knelt before MC, which aroused his interest, and after a while, MC asked him not to spread the word about what they had seen today. Gilsu asked if all his oddities were because he was a former member of Squad 711? MC was not yet ready to reveal his identity to the public, and Gilsu understood him. It would be a lot of trouble later. In general, he swears on his position as the leader of the association to keep his mouth shut, and besides, angering people like him is not the best idea. He does not need such enemies. MC was glad to hear this. He also wants to cooperate with the masters of the Majan district. According to Gilsu, when the world is going down the drain, only friends like MC behind your back give you confidence. Suddenly, the staff called out to him and praised him, asking if he was hurt. The staff member thought that nothing happened to them, thanks to him. But were there any tasty monsters down there? Gilsu laughed, and Hyoju realized that this was where the roots of his strength grew. MC suggested this theory as well, and then they said goodbye to Gilsu. MC was sorry that the seasoning jar broke, but for now there was no need to think about replacing it. And first of all, it was worth buying a weapon for the heads. Gilsu asked, "Are they leaving already?" MC was afraid that they were. He still had things to do. Gilsu wished the guys a safe journey. It was fun. MC would like to ask for something before leaving. Gilsu was surprised at what MC would ask him. MC asked if Gilsu could look for a man named Makdoksu in the Noan district. Most likely, he runs a hardware store. In his past life, he was called the King of Crafts. He could make anything, like some kind of tool or item for survival. Gilsu understood and accepted. He just happens to have a few friends living in Novan. He'll let him know when he finds them. Next time they'll have a glass of homebrew. Haiju asked, what should she do next? MC told her to stay and take a few lessons from Jang Gilsu. But Haiju was not asking about that. She was asking about her father. As MC already noted, the Prime Minister can't do anything without power. The only option is to gain that power by fighting monsters. He said to take command of the monster-catching group. She wants to work for the good of the country. Right? Haiju understood him, and MC thinks that there is nothing wrong with being friendly with Park Daeho. According to MC, he is certainly a selfish type, but he will not deliberately destroy the country to the ground in order to have something to own. To Hyoju, this sounds like he knows her father. MC decided that they need to deal with another matter now. Hyoju asked if he meant the time of troubles. MC said, no, not that. Rather those who whine and say that the world is ending. Fanatics. Fanatics. Hyoju clarified, he means supporters of the apocalypse? But they just organize street protests. Of course, they have large-scale collections, but their activities cannot be called something illegal. These people, as MC said, are just fanatics. MC did not mean exactly that, but very soon Incheon could disappear because of them. Hyoju was scared and hoped that he was joking. MC was talking about the Jeonil Corporation. He clarified, she knows who Shin Tae-hwa, the chairman of this company, is, right? Hyoju knew him. From Incheon, he expanded the scope of his activities to the national level. According to MC, at first, Jeonil was a simple gang of bandits, but by now they have already become a global criminal organization and even founded their own company, and now Shin Tae-hwa is going to promote his religion. Soon, one of the seers will stand by his side. Hyoju asked again, seers? MC will tell all the details in a couple of days at the port of Incheon, but for now, Hyoju should go and train. Hyoju looked at him and remained silent. After a while, MC said that they arrived in time, but how did they guess? Myung-hoon thinks that there is nothing wrong with it. They have been here for several hours and Somin missed him too much. MC patted Somin and praised her, but she did nothing. He is the smart one. She asked, is he hurt? He still has wounds from the fight with the Ghoul King. She was worried. Myung-hoon wondered if MC told that government agent about reincarnation. MC thinks it is better to continue to maintain the image of a suspiciously strong and knowledgeable, but ordinary person. The prophets may already know about the reincarnation, so they can start chasing him like crazy. If he acts suspiciously, they will start flooding Korea to feel him out. Just like Alec Traman and Ninagawa Erika, with their help, they will stop the monsters in the country. Myung-hoon praised him, and Sunim, with sadness in her eyes, remained silent. She asked her dad not to overexert himself, and he promised that he would not. MC is tired, but if he sleeps now, he will probably sleep for about a day. Myung-hoon told him not to worry, they will wake him up when they arrive at the port. Somin asked him to rest for a while, she would guard him. MC agreed and thanked them. They continued moving towards the port, and MC was already having a dream that he fell into a deep hole and asked, what happened? He took out a note and asked, did this thing create a subspace? A test? The system window reported successful user registration and the addition of an additional quest, Land's Lair, that needs to be completed. MC had not heard of this before, but since this is a lair, there should definitely be monsters here. It is not worth getting into trouble. MC saw a portal, and the system window reported that after moving to the lair, the quest cannot be refused. In other words, MC will either complete the quest or die here. It is quite risky to agree when MC does not even know what the reward will be. MC decided to decline the offer, but suddenly the spirit of a knight appeared in front of him, blocking the buttons. MC asked, does he want him to agree? Asterion was the master of the labyrinth, and this ticket was the reward. Apparently, Asterion knows something about all this. In that case, MC will go and complete this quest. He entered the portal and moved to another space. The rule to do or die really works here. The voice asked who he was. MC was surprised by the telepathy and told him to introduce himself first. He found a ticket in the Minotaur's labyrinth that led him here. He only knows that this is some kind of Lan's lair. He is the owner and monster here. That same Lan? The voice grinned, asking if he is Lan? The name Lan does not belong to the monster, but to its owner. MC understood from the monster's words that he is not him. Then where is Lan? The monster offered to try to guess, and MC realized that it ate him. The man slammed his palm on the table and asked, Lan's lair? What creature dared to shove him there? He needs to cool down. He knows the timeline is distorted. It's only logical that there will be changes. The timeline was distorted because the reincarnated rewound time. That's why the carnival happened. A being like the reincarnated upsets the balance. That's why they brought the future closer, which even the reincarnated doesn't know. That's the only way it's fair. Don't make him laugh. The carnival has already started. Phases interference like that breaks the rules. He needs to calm down. He's not himself. You're ordered that his name not be spoken. They are in a shadow corridor. He would break anonymity again and he would make him disappear. The shadow asked, Him? Everyone knows who is who here anyway. Stop showing off. It's true that his prophet is very conspicuous. One can assume that they decided to test him a little. He is not just conspicuous. He can be called the reincarnated with complete confidence, this cunning lord of the 7 snakes. Who would have thought that he would get his hands on the reincarnated? The witness of the sun and moon, or rather Tur, was ordered to shut his mouth. After all, it was he who created the possibility of reincarnation, and now he is pouring out about justice through the approach of the future? Enough of this nonsense. He thinks he does not know what his filthy soul is hiding. He says that the system was created for the good of people, but in fact he just wants his rotten prophet to be reborn and take everything into his own hands. You just need to admit that he was simply afraid that the reincarnated was not his. He is their fairest. Tur ordered him to shut up. He did not break the rules. He simply determined what would happen within 50 years. The order is not so important. Yes, after some time they will still come to this stage, and it is now sealed. True, nothing will happen to his prophet. That creature feeds on time. According to Yor, they are doing a good job for those who sent his prophet to a creation that should appear only in 30 years. If he returns from there alive, they are next in line. He ordered MC not to dare choose. MC stood in front of the monster, who had already changed his appearance, and said, Funny, does he really think that he could eat the stewards? You shouldn't throw words that can anger them. MC, what does it matter whether they get angry or not? He is just a chess knight for the phases who uses their power. The monster Upo will not attach. How could someone like him simply be chosen as a prophet? MC advised not to attach something that does not exist. Unless he has instructions for him on how to complete the quest, then he can just get lost in the fog. The monster was joking. Instructions on how to complete the quest? Yes, easily. Even now he can tell. It held out Lan's heart, which was enough to taste. Such is the test. According to the monster, it is simple, and the reward will not disappoint MC. If he is lucky, he will be able to seize the power of the phases themselves. MC was surprised. The power of the phases? The monster wants to say that some piece of meat grants him the power of a higher entity? The monster confirmed his words, and MC was still interested in who Lan is. It seems that the composition of the phases does not change. There are always 8 of them, but the monster assured that there is no permanent property. In all worlds, including his, the phases replace each other from time to time, and the lands are the most ancient rulers. The monster is not talking about the idiots who have opened the carnival now, but about the beings who ruled in the times of Olympus and Muspelheim. They are truly powerful creatures who created existence. However, as it has already said, times change and the top changes. It is like a system of succession of carnivals. MC got angry and asked, does it mean to say that this fun for them? This is a typical entertainment? According to the monster, for phases all this is not just a game. The carnival is the engine of progress or regression, which, in fact, are 2 extremes of the same thing. This is what is called history. MC was surprised, since when has the history of the world been created by entities alien to it? According to the monster, not everything is so simple. In a sense, they are the key to the carnival, provoking phenomena and unraveling them. They only bring them to the stage. MC mocked him. Well, of course, he made a decision. He grabbed the heart from the monster's hands and asked how long it would pull the wool over his eyes. He said, and what keys, what scene? The monster didn't understand what was wrong. He ordered to eat faster, so he would become more powerful than any seer. MC assured the monster that diplomacy was clearly not his business, since he was so strong that he absorbed phases. So what was he doing here? The monster was surprised by such a question, and MC asked another one, and why would the one who absorbs phases suddenly use the word we in relation to them? Does it really want him to believe? He tore the heart apart, because the creature had attacked the wrong person. The monster was impressed, but on the other hand, disappointed. He would have been able to taste it if MC had absorbed this flesh. He was sure that his soul was very appetizing. Even a fool would understand that this was just a trick. The monster realized that they didn't really like MC, because he had already met him at the second door. The idiots were probably hoping that he would absorb him, but he was really curious about what kind of story MC would create. MC realized that apparently it was not a lie that it was absorbing phases. This creature was stronger than the 8 lords combined. According to the monster, since the test was passed, MC was entitled to a reward. You could say that MC had completed a quest of sorts. It took MC's hand, it was nothingness, But not what MC thought. By its nature, it was something that had no beginning or end. MC couldn't understand his words, but at the same time the creature was the one who had seen every carnival, so MC could learn from it what would happen in the next 25 years. Suddenly MC woke up in the car and looked at his palms in fear, which had silver chains on them. He heard Soman's voice asking him to wake up and running after the car. The MC got out of the car and asked what happened. Some people suddenly made them stop, but that's not the point. Myung-hoon is in danger. There were guards standing next to Myung-hoon, and one of them asked the MC, Namgoong, is that him? He'll have to go with them. The MC pushed him aside and called Myung-hoon. It's time for them to go. Stop bowing and scraping here. Myung-hoon at that moment hit the guards and waved to the MC. He asked, is he awake already? The MC couldn't understand why Myung-hoon didn't send them away right away. He decided to figure out what was going on while the MC was snoring in the car. The guards grabbed their knives and got really angry, which MC didn't like, and he decided that they needed to be interrogated, but not to overdo it. Myung-hoon accepted his order and pulled out his sword, looking at the guards' weapons. This is a real weapon. He covered the guards with an ice crust and struck one of them and asked who sent them. But the guard himself didn't know anything, but Myung-hoon warned him that if he didn't want to cooperate, he would only make things worse. If he continued to act like an idiot, he would want to die. The guard didn't understand. Was he going to kill him? Well, he made me laugh. Killing a person is not some kind of joke. Suddenly, MC grabbed his head. It seems the guard didn't understand him. He wouldn't kill him. He himself would want to go to the next world. He pressed the guard's body to the ground, and then let him go and asked, is this the boss? Gwangpil waved his hand and replied that no, he was just a subordinate. MC thinks that the guard doesn't think so. Suddenly, a knife flew into the guard's head, and Gwangpil asked, who is this chatterbox? A terrible chairman? Recruited idiots for a man's job. MC asked him, he is small but mighty, what is his name? Choi Gwangpil introduced himself, he is from the Jeonil company. According to MC, if so, then he can answer his question. How did they know that he would be in Incheon? Gwangpil remained silent, and MC asked another question. Who exactly sent them, Shin Tae-hwa from Jeonil or Jinwei from Triad behind him? Gwangpil chuckled at MC's pathos and asked, does he think he is cool? He began to run around the MC, whom he considered too impudent for someone who was going to die soon. MC realized that he had absorbed several runes. Gwangpil asked, did he already regret provoking him? He ran past MC again and ordered him to die. But it was not that simple, because MC had already moved and struck back. According to Myung-hoon, this guy seems to know a lot about fighting, although he does not know how to choose an opponent. MC grabbed his leg, because no matter how fast he is, he cannot run without legs. Gwangpil cried in pain, and MC asked to listen to him. If he twitched again, he would make him disabled for life, and then sent him to be eaten by monsters. There was no need to twitch, just answer the questions. Gwangpil jabbered. Yeonan Station, they were ordered to take MC there. MC needed to find out who, but Gwangpil did not know, they were just given the order. MC pressed him with his powerful energy, so Gwangpil quickly changed his mind and replied that it was the chairman. He told them to act before the idiots from the Triad who had already filled the port yesterday. MC realized that both Jeonil and Jinwei were on his tail now. Was it Alec Tremont who snitched on him to Jinwei? MC turned to Myung-hoon and asked him to take Somin and go with her to Hojin. The troubled times were just around the corner. Myung-hoon was surprised. MC was going to act alone? But that was not the case, because Hyoju was already approaching, so there was no need to worry, he was not alone. After a while, they arrived at the station, where they reported that the station was currently out of operation. Hyoju did not understand what was happening. MC told her to come, and she came. Those bandits were from Jeonil. The MC confirmed her words, but Hyoju believed that they had created a cult, but in the end, they remained a bunch of gangsters. It was just the beginning. They would use doping. The Jeonil started smuggling drugs in the 90s, and they were able to quickly rise from the profits. Hyoju did not understand why they created a cult at all, according to the MC, because there was no need for smuggling anymore. Hyoju did not understand what his words meant, so the MC said that drugs could be sold legally. The Jeonil planned to start a factory, take advantage of the chaos of the carnival, rally a horde of fanatics, and then get them hooked on a new drug from Jeonil. This drug not only causes hallucinations and gives pleasure, but also dulls physical pain. In other words, the Jeonil will create walking shields for themselves out of meat. Hyoju was surprised by what she heard and asked how this was even possible. Okay, she admits that it is, but how does this all relate to Incheon's disappearance? Incheon is considered Jeonil's territory. Why get rid of your own land? According to MC, they themselves will get addicted to their new drug. Haiju still couldn't believe it. They don't know how to handle their own product, do they? They invented it themselves. MC said that Jeonil just produces the drug. They are not the creators of the recipe. Jinwei, the prophet chosen by the Lord of the Power of Fire, a crazy alchemist. After a while, MC went to the empty ticket office and said, "The flight to Bengyongdo at 15, 2 tickets for Sunflower." An invisible worker handed him 2 tickets and told him to go to exit number 3. The guys went to the gate and the man led them to the ship. Hyeju wondered where the Coast Guard went. Could the Mafia's Muda stand here so calmly? MC opened the door and went inside, where the Mafia commander stood, who asked, did he come and even drag a beauty with him? They weren't some kind of national intelligence service, so there was no need to be formal. He offered to sit down and MC was surprised that he knew who he was. MC asked, the man said they were looking for him? According to the commander, Chen Sun from the Triad and his men came at dawn yesterday. They were looking for him. He asked not to blame those guys. They were just doing their job. He understood. Hyeju got angry. Did they really decide to bribe the Coast Guard in order to smuggle people from the Triad? She rushed forward and suddenly MC knocked her out. The commander was surprised. What kind of situation was this? MC explained she was just unwanted ballast, which he couldn't get rid of, and in order to talk normally, it was easier to knock her out. The commander was surprised. MC was even cooler than he expected. Now it was clear to him why the Triad was looking for him. MC didn't understand why this was, and why he hid from them that he had found him earlier. If the commander explained these two things to MC, their communication would be more productive. The commander said that the Triad was currently recruiting people. They wanted to set up mass production of this, and they said that there was no one better than MC for the role of manager. MC didn't understand what the commander was talking about, but he decided to explain that this was the so-called berserker, small, but he could go crazy like that. The Triad had the recipe, and they were providing a place for production so they could use a strong person in Korea. After these words, MC understood why the commander had found him in advance. The commander realized that MC was not only good at punching, but also had a good idea of everything. The fewer mouths to feed, the more profit for everyone. MC asked if he was sure he could resist the Triad. That's why he needed MC. He extended his hand and said to take a look. He activated the power of water, which surprised MC. In his past life, this guy was just a stoned walking corpse. Who would have thought that he had such potential? The commander promised to close the sea route if MC touched all those who arrived in Korea. No matter how hard they tried, without a ship afloat, they would not be able to get out. He snapped his fingers and the assistant brought out a large pallet of money, which the commander called an advance. According to him, once their business goes well, he will pay as much as MC himself wants. He is not like those idiots from the Triad, and will make it so that MC does not have to dirty his hands. The commander said to think in this way, that he is protecting their country from the Triad. Well, how is that not patriotic? MC is sure that even walls have ears. This puzzled the commander, when suddenly his neck was snapped by strong hands. The guards screamed in fear, "Mr. President, who is there?" Chenjin wondered, did they dare to make the Triad wait and plot behind their backs? Trash roaches, let them take their trash and go away. He wondered when MC realized. According to MC, as soon as he walked in, Chenjun introduced himself. It became clear to him why the boss was interested in him. It was better for a man to swim in big waters. If he fell for some Chonil corporation, he would already be a corpse. MC didn't quite understand what he meant by big waters. Chenshun didn't like that this made MC laugh, and he decided that it was worth seeing how big the waters were. He ordered to contact Jin Wei and tell him to come before MC counted to 3. It was better to swim in big waters with big fish. He wanted to talk to him personally. Chenshun didn't understand how MC dared to say this name. Was he crazy? MC thought that since Mr. Sanju himself was interested in him, it meant he could do whatever he wanted. MC realized that fusion was an ability similar to camouflage, and camouflage made the user invisible, but did not eliminate the feeling of someone's presence. But fusion allowed one to completely dissolve in the surrounding space, physically disappear. The user could appear and disappear at will, which made this ability useful not only for defense, but also for attack. Suddenly, Chenshun shifted from one side to the other and decided that before appearing in front of Mr. Changju, MC needed to be taught a lesson. He immediately warned that the lesson would be harsh. MC understood that he was like a baby eager to demonstrate his abilities. According to Chenshun, the world has changed. There are ordinary people, and there are people like him who have special powers. Now the division of people into classes is inevitable, as is MC's fall in the face of his power. He appeared behind MC and was about to strike, when suddenly everything turned out the other way around. MC hit him, and he literally howled in pain. He didn't understand how MC could hit him. He was in a state of fusion. MC was surprised. Chenshun doesn't even understand his own abilities. He was just lucky to survive without combat experience, and he is a pathetic worm. Chenshun didn't understand how it was, but MC explained, he didn't hit the body, but directly to the soul. He can beat him as much as he wants, even if he doesn't incarnate. Chenzun was surprised that the soul actually exists, but he didn't understand how he could hit the soul at all. MC ordered him to stop pretending to be almighty and sit down. He needs to ask something. How did Jinwei know about him? The video of MC defeating the water snake is already circulating all over the internet, but didn't he know? MC asked. They don't trust the Jonggil company, but they are willing to entrust him with the task, relying only on an amateur video from the internet. Do they even have rational reasons? Chen Xun admitted, the strength of MC, he is the strongest in Korea. In this world you can't trust anyone except the strongest, and behind him is Mr. Sanju, which means that no matter how strong MC is, they simply won't let him betray them. MC realized that it would not be difficult for Jin Wei to create any potion using alchemy. He must have already strengthened his yishi to the limit, so at the moment he is even stronger than Alec, and if it comes to a fight, then their chances are about equal. Although no, perhaps MC is even a little inferior. No matter how strong MC is, Mr. Songju will eventually dominate everyone. He must be watched out for. MC thanked him for the warning and asked, so what do you want from him? Chen Shun handed over a note and ordered him to go there. Their experts will meet him. He just needs to hand over the ampules, but the rats from the Chonil company may know about this place. If anything, he must kill them. MC asked, will Jin Wei be there? He will arrive in about a week. MC did not like this. He wants him to show up before he counts to 3. He understood. He is leaving right now, and he will take care of the girl himself. No need to worry. Suddenly, Chen Shun called Ryojin and ordered her to accompany MC to the destination, which puzzled MC. Are they going to follow him? According to Chen Zhen, they have no reason to trust him, except for his strength. MC thinks that's fair, but since Ryojin tagged along, she should give him a ride to the place. She has a car, right? After a while, the guys were driving in the car and were silent, and then Ryojin asked why they needed this woman with them. MC didn't understand. Was he obliged to report to her? She wasn't his order. Ryojin, it seems he heard this name somehow in his past life, but since he doesn't remember her, it means they most likely haven't met. MC had a question. What kind of weapon does she wield? But Ryojin only mimicked MC, saying that she doesn't have to answer. He isn't her order either. Ryojin asked, does MC want to repeat Chen Shun's fate? Even if he is stronger than him, he is far from Mr. Sangju. He is her immediate superior. She does not intend to report to him. MC was impressed by such devotion and offered to see how impressive her powers were. He greatly surprised Ryojin with this, when suddenly the ground shook and a huge monster grabbed the car and began to devour it. MC got out of the car and surprised Ryojin. Was he going to get out in such a mess? MC did not understand. Was she suggesting to stay in the car? How else did she think they would get to their destination? It was the beginning of the time of troubles.